lies. It was just
bullshit. What's the difference?
It wasn't lies. It was
just bullshit. The proper way to say it. No lies, just bullshit. The proper way to say it. No lies, just bullshit. The proper way to say it. No lies, just bullshit. The proper way to say it. No lies, just bullshit.
Who said liar? I said bullshit artist. And what's the difference? Because I don't lie.
Hello and welcome to No Lies Just Bullshit. I'm your host, Nick Swartz. Thank you for tuning in to the #1 tattoo podcast on planet Earth, where we bring you the illest podcast of tattoo storytelling that there is. Before we get into this week's episode, I want to mention Alliance Tattoo Supply. AllianceTattooSupply.com is the place that you can get lineage needles, you can get power supplies, you can get ink, you can get table drapes, you can get machines, you can get everything you need. You can get barriers, you can get cleaning supplies, medical, all that stuff. Everything you need you can get from AllianceTattooSupply.com. They are a tattooer-owned business. They are solid people. They treat Alley Cat Tattoo very well. They support No Lies Just Bullshit, and I urge you to support them. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about these folks. And, you know, I've had friends of mine who used other companies and then took my recommendation, and now they order exclusively from Alliance. So I strongly recommend that you check them out at AllianceTattooSupply.com. You will not be sorry. What else do we got going on? I can't think of anything off the top of my head. A lot of information coming my way, a lot of stuff going on. People are interested in the Shenandoah Rose Tattoo Fest. That is going to happen August 7th, 8th, and 9th of this year. And we are having this Tattoo Fest to celebrate 25 years of Alley Cat Tattoo. We opened September 1st, 2001. You know, I was talking to some friends about it, actually on this podcast. You know, we opened on September 1st, and then, you know, September 11th was less than 2 weeks later, and it was kind of a, you know, it was kind of scary, you know, to be honest with you, man, because people weren't out in the streets, people weren't moving around, and we were just getting started, and we didn't know what was going to happen, you know, but the community sort of came to us, and we, of course, embraced Harrisonburg, and we love it in Shenandoah Valley, and we got a little busier and a little busier and a little busier, and now here we are. We're almost 25 years in, and proud to represent the Shenandoah Valley. I got a great crew of tattooers, but we're going to give them off for the Shenandoah Rose, because we're going to have tattooers from all over the world that are coming to hang out. And this episode, I'm going to announce that the great and powerful Juan Puente will be at the Shenandoah Rose. Juan has been a good friend of mine. I met him kind of through Instagram. And years ago, when the New York Adorned was closing, he invited me to New York to help him cook for one of those parties. And we did a podcast, and we've been friends ever since. And he's been in my shop. And, man, just a super all-around positive guy, great guy. And I'm excited to have him at the Shenandoah Rose. He's definitely going to be there taking some photographs. He's probably going to be there doing some tattoos as well. So it could be your lucky day to get in with a West Coast legend right here in the Shenandoah Valley. And, of course, you know, I've named some others, but Timothy will be there. Jesse Struthers will be there. Mac Tyre will be there. Nick Hall will be there. Lots of great tattooers and many more to be announced. So stick with me, and I'll keep dropping them on these podcast intros. Yeah, I think that's about it. So as far as this episode goes, you know, I've mentioned here before that we've had a little bit of trouble getting some content, and just, you know, a lot of our friends and a lot of people that are within reach have been on. And, you know, plus I have preparing for the Shenandoah Rose, running Alley Cat Tattoo. I have a wife, I have children, I have all these other things going on. And so, yeah, sometimes it's more difficult than others. But so I put my thinking cap on, and I decided me and Avery were going to go down to Virginia Beach. And we had a great trip. We stopped in Richmond briefly and had lunch, and then, boom, we hit Petersburg, and we shot some content for YouTube for the other world of stuff that I'm doing for our Shop Talk page. And so we went to Tantrum Tattoo with the great and powerful George Archer, and we shot some great stuff there. And then we moved on, did some stuff at my buddy Mike Hill's restaurant called Love Song in Virginia Beach, right there on Laskin Road. And man, Mike really rolled out the red carpet for us to treat us really well. And then that evening, we visited these fellas from Saltwater Tattoo right there in Virginia Beach. So friends of mine for a very long time, Tony Riccio, Mike Rickards, and then their fellow Chad, who was he's like their shop guy. He tattooed for Crow for over 20 years, I think. Man, he really brought the ruckus and brought some really great stories to this episode. And I haven't had Tony and Mike on for quite some years, but man, those dudes are just, not only are they good guys and skilled tattooers, but they love tattoo. They love the culture. They put their best foot forward, and supporting guys like Scott Sterling. They were real supportive of Brian Bruno, and they're just great, man. They go to events, they go to support their fellow tattooers, and they put out great tattoos at their shop, and it's all in the spirit of this thing of ours. So glad to have those fellas as friends. Glad that they were able to sit down and talk with me. We had a fun time, and here it is. No lies, just bullshit. Saltwater Tattoo.
I had a dream last night while I was laying on my bed, and the whole world was standing still, and the moon was turning red. I saw a sign in the sky. I have come to set you free.
I told Avery what that. So Tony might just start talking shit about people. He's done it in the past.
It happens. I can't help it. I don't know where it comes from.
Well, it comes from just being a dude. Yeah, I should have looked up how long it's been. You've got at least 3 episodes, but they're all pre-COVID.
Oh shit.
They're all pre-COVID.
Pre my son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
Life stops. Life, changes. But now everybody in here's a dad.
Fucking right. Yeah, he brought his little girl up one time, and I was like, "Where's your daughter?" And he said, "She's being shitty. She's in the car." I walked over to the car.
Went
Hey,
to
what's
the
your
car.
problem, girl? She was looking at me. She was young then.
Yeah.
I said, "You better be good to your daddy. He brought you all the way up here." She was looking at me like, "Who the fuck is this?"
Yeah. She's down in Carolina now. His son's just had his second baby, and his granddaddy over there. Yep.
10 times.
Are they local too? You see them a lot? That's
Yeah, they're
awesome.
over in Chesapeake.
Oh,
Yeah, they're close.
Yeah, that's great, man. Well, the shop looks fucking tremendous. We've never recorded here.
No.
I have one of
The Wilson.
those. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have the Panther that's like the other side.
Yeah, that's over somewhere over there. Yeah, this place is.
It's full up.
That's why I texted you. I was like, this place has got the magic.
Yeah.
Come in.
It's better to be here than. Plus, the kid will make it look really good.
Good. Seems like a nice kid. But anyways, tell me what's new.
Alley Cat moved. You've been there, huh? Yeah.
Well, you showed me. The last time I went up is when you had just bought it and you just got the keys.
All right, so we just kind of did a walkthrough.
Well, we didn't even walk through because it was like we kind of drove up there. You showed me the parking lot. You said, or maybe you hadn't got the keys
Maybe I
yet.
signed a lease but didn't have the keys.
Yeah.
Or not a lease, but
Yeah.
I had a deal in place.
And that's right when that was when my daughter had said she was going to JMU.
Right.
And right before I went, then I went to Colorado, came back, and she decommitted and committed to Ole Miss.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, so then that was a whole.
Yeah. Well, it's a bunch of us. Went to lunch that day or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, the new shop's fucking.
We'll be there. We'll be there in August.
Yeah, dog. Looking forward to it. I hope y'all can come up and bring you guys if you make it.
I think everyone's going.
Hell yeah.
I think everyone's stoked about it,
Shenandoah Rose, 25 years of Alley Cat, man. What did you think of the flyer Connor did?
Oh, it's perfect.
Sick.
He's a crusher. He's a crusher.
That's how it
But
is.
yeah, so that's going on. Been doing this thing for 10 years. No Life Bullshit will be 10 years old in October. Alley Cat will be 25 years old in September. My son just turned 15. Yeah. I got this kid doing all the shop stuff for us. Yeah, man. I can't wait for y'all to see the shop.
Yeah, we're
See
excited.
the lineup?
Yeah.
I haven't put out all the names yet, but I'll show them to you.
Let's hear them. We'll be. Let me see here. We'll be open 9 years in June. And everybody but one's been since day one. Man, got Mac the king, dude.
I think Joey did he do his first guest spot?
He did. Yeah. Joey's reluctant to go, but he's traveling now, but he's traveling with his punk rock stuff, you know?
Yeah.
He's about to go to Europe. Yeah, it's like next week, I think, right? Yeah, he's doing really well.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
He's Mr. Positive.
Yeah.
No Joe Bonnie this year?
Nah, she had like a family commitment that weekend, and so it just kind of is what it is. I really wanted her to be there. She's amazing. She did, you guys were there for 20.
Yeah, it blew my mind. I was just staring. I was watching everything she was doing.
Yeah, she was great. And she, at the time, she wasn't drinking, and so she was like, her and Mike Wilson there at fucking 9:30 a.m., and they just never stopped tattooing till 11.
Oh, yeah.
And she didn't fucking fool around. She went to her room. Last day, I had a party at the house. And so that's what I'm going to try to do for this thing is Friday and Saturday, like 11 to 11 tattooing and hang at the shop. And then Sunday, like 11 to 4, and then have a pool party out at the crib and cook out and make some hot dogs and hamburgers and that sort of stuff. So it's going to be great. 10 years or so. You said 9 years or 10 years?
Be 9.
9 years. This place is fucking ill. When you all told me the name, I was like, you can have the illest merch. I like that y'all have tough guy merch though, and not beach merch. You know what I'm saying? But you can get rich if you did beach merch. I still, to this day, you did a bunch of tie-dye shirts. You can get rich.
I still try it. We did tie-dye shirts when we first opened. We did tie-dye shirts. I try to crush. Me and Brian were really fighting each other on merch. Like for like a good couple of years when we first opened. I think he and I were pushing each other a lot when it came to merch, which was awesome. But I was like, not repeating any shirt designs and just putting out new stuff like every couple of months for the first couple of years. And then I feel like, Brian would just sink my ship. You just like draw one shirt, just like, but it was a good push between the both of us for a little while, I think,
He's the big dog, man.
Yeah, he's wild.
Like, that's what happens. You know what I mean? It's the illest. I'll tell you. So I didn't know how long it would take us to get into Brian. But let's just talk about it right now. I consider myself lucky because, and I could talk about lots of stories with Brian and lots of years of Brian, my wedding, his wedding, Baltimore stuff. Him coming to Alley Cat. He did my hand the first trip at Alley Cat, and then this one the second. They're in the Tattoo City book. He's done a bunch of stuff on me and did my wife's back, which is legendary. But the last time I spent a whole day with him, I was coming down to record with somebody. I don't even remember who.
Was it Frank?
Frank who?
Mills.
No. I'm talking about the last day I hung out with Brian Bruno.
Oh,
I
shit.
recorded with Frank Mills years ago. The last day I spent with Bruno, I was coming down to see somebody else, and so I said, I'll just give myself an extra day to see Brian. And he was, he'd been in the hospital and been out, and it's been rough, man. Of course, we all know, it was fucking horrific. And I pull up, and he's got his keys, like fumbling his keys, and he's unlocking the front door of Absolute. And it's like maybe 10:30 in the morning. And I go, hey, boy. And he turns around real slow, looks at me, and he goes, oh, come in? Oh, yeah. So I park my shit. And we go in, and he's tattooing that day one of Sam's buddies. And he drew like a really classic Coleman Jesus head and a super weird dead zombie Jesus head. And he was like doing all this guy's ribs. And he's like, come downstairs. So we go downstairs and just doing what I always do at Absolute. Just holding court, talking trash, telling stories, and just had him laughing the whole fucking time. We just had a great time. And the dude comes down there, and Brian, he picks the one he wants, which is the classic one. Brian's like, all right, give me a minute, and he makes a stencil. This, he's gonna do. This guy's like kind of a thick guy that's going on his side. And it's about that big, pretty big tattoo. And he set up and makes a stencil, and the guy walks over there, and Brian's somebody who I always pay attention and remember his hand movements and stuff,
Yeah.
And so, he sprays him down, and he like sticks it in the middle, wipes it one way, wipes it one way, peels it off, looks at it, nailed it. Dude looks at it, it's perfect. He's like, all right, edit this in. Dude lays down, fires up his machine, super loud, gets some black. He's talking to me, and then he just does like this and runs like the line for the shoulder and does just the whole thing. Bzzz. perfect. And I was just like, oh, yes. It just felt good. It's like he'd been sick and he'd been in the hospital. Like, it was all kind of shit. But he was the fucking man. And he was working for his family and he was doing
he worked to the end.
the thing he did, you know? And that, but just watching that movement and that motion that I'd seen him do so many times and do it flawlessly, it made me feel real good. And I sat down there for hours that day, just cracking jokes and making him laugh. And you could tell he was getting a little tired and stuff, but we had so much fucking fun. And that's the last time I saw him. You know, I talked to him on the phone after that, texted him, but that's the last time I saw him, and it was just perfect for me. You know, to be selfish, I'm not trying to, you know, say it's about me, but that's like the best day I could have had with him. You know what I mean? Was that day in the tattoo shop, watching him be flawless, be great, and that was it, man.
Wish mine was that great.
You know, Emily came to my house and she was like, brought the kids up and it was lovely and we had food and stuff. And this was like, you know, a little while after Memorial. And she said, you know, we just thought we had more time. She said, one day, Tony's feeding you meatballs. And the next day, he's gone.
Yeah.
You know, and I just thought about how perfect that was. I'm sure it was difficult.
Yeah.
But you're a fucking meathead. And he's you know, a couple of Italian guys feeding him some meatballs.
Yeah, that was his last meal, meatballs. Yeah,
you know, there's some beauty to that.
But that was a rough night, man. That was wild, dude. It was like everything kind of paced out. Everybody walked out. I think Emily took Rowan to a doctor's appointment or something, so I just stayed with Brian. So I think her brother was upstairs or something, and then immediately when I came back, it was like all hell broke loose. You know, like all the shit started happening with this house. Like everything just started tanking, and I. It sucks to say, but I was just like I was so relieved to get in my car and get out of there, which was just.
That didn't suck.
It was so hard, but when I bounced, I was just like, I remember driving home. I think I like zoned out, like doing the. What's that?
You called here?
Yeah, dude. I went home like I don't even think I listened to the radio. I took all these guys to kind of settle myself down, and I think I just like white knuckled it straight home.
Sure.
It was a nightmare, but
But man, nobody wants to watch that. You know, when my old man was real sick, my sister was like, I'm not going to leave his side. And I said, let me tell you something. Get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
You don't want to watch that. If you've ever watched somebody die, you don't want to watch that. I said, it's there's no glory in it after the fact. All you're left with is the horror of it.
Yeah.
You're there, you love your daddy, you tell him, leave that room. There's not, you know, and that might not sound, you know, like the nicest thing in the world, but, you know, and I'm not talking about religion or anything else, but I'm just talking about like being in this life and then leaving this life. No, my old man didn't look and go, I'll be damned, my daughter walked outside before I died. He don't give a fuck. Brian don't, you know, like they're relieved of anything that we might feel guilty of. Folks that move on, they're relieved of those sort of things. They don't, that doesn't exist no more.
Yeah, it's wild.
There's nothing wrong with saying I was glad to get out of there. I would have been glad. I'm glad I didn't go down there for that. You know what I mean? Straight up, I'm glad I didn't. And I love Brian, and like I said, the last day we had was the fucking best day. You know? The best.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, he just left a hole. I think everybody in this shop's been, you know, every day talks about, you know, missing him or using some sort of reference that he's got. So, you know, he still lives on here, you know, every day.
Yeah, dude, he's such a G. Like, I never stop telling stories. That's how I honor anybody that I love. I constantly tell Bruno stories. Constantly tell stories of him talking shit or the things he did for me. Or, you know, whatever. He was great, man. I'll never stop talking about him. And Emily said she told him that. She's like, well, as long as Nick's running his mouth on the fucking podcast, you're never gonna die.
Yeah.
You know?
Anyways.
Yeah.
But that whole, you know, you think about that whole shop, and you went and saw George today. When I started getting into tattooing, that was the crew I saw, was George.
Yeah.
He was the greatest, you know.
The greatest.
Still, you know, recognizable. And then, you know, when I started, that's when I met Mike and Chad. You know, Chad was tattooing right on the station in front of me. Mike was right across the aisle from me.
Yeah. Man, George, you know, I did an episode with George and Josh. I don't know if y'all ever listened to that one, but it's amazing. Just great, great stories. And then at one point, like, I get up and excuse myself for a little bit, and I'm like taking a piss and getting a drink, and I might even make a phone call. I'm gone for like 18 minutes or something. And when I turned the file over to my brother, I go, I really wish they would have impersonated Billy Easton more because it's hilarious.
Oh, it's the best.
And Josh goes, they did Billy to each other the whole time you were gone. It's like, oh, hell yeah. At least we got it. You know what I'm saying?
That, Dave Boisnow's pretty good at that too.
Yeah.
They got the best stories.
All the boys know.
And that's, it's hard because all those old guys, Crow didn't even put his head in the tattoo shop for the first 5 years. The last 2 years I worked for him, he would come in and hang out. But the first 5 years, I think he's told me good luck when he hired me, and I don't think I talked to him for like 2 years after that. But Chad took his chair.
Oh, yeah?
When Chad got hired, Chad took his chair. So Chad got to spend a lot of time with him actually in a tattoo shop.
He did my first tattoo.
Credit?
Yeah. In the
Where at? What shop?
the Yorktown shop. And funny thing about that is the station I got my first tattoo in, I did my first tattoo out of. Yeah.
What car do you want to do first tattoo?
I got a Misfits Crimson Ghost
This guy, huh?
on Halloween 1987.
Shit, dog. That's shit.
Yeah.
I saw George was showing me old photo albums he got from Frank Mills today, and that's like Paul's wife's funeral, and there's a picture of Crow, like 20s, like young.
Yeah.
He looks like Trevor that works for me. That's what he's.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
But man, I feel like I met Crow when I used to sell jewelry, but he wouldn't have talked to me then. But Scott introduced me to Crow. And he was like, hey, I want to meet my buddy Nick. And, you know, Scott is like always enthusiastic at that time in particular. And he walks over and Crow's like sitting on a stool against the wall. And I go, how you doing? Nice to meet you. And he goes, puts his hand out and then looks away from me.
Oh, man.
I was like, what the fuck's this shit, Scott? And Scott goes, oh, that's cool. Yeah, don't worry about it. And Crow just fucking looked at me like he wanted me to die. And then he got up and walked outside.
Crow's soft now. Comes in, he's nice to everybody, hangs out, but
Oh, he's great. I love him.
you know, the stories of back in the day when it was a little different, or you know, things were crazy. You know, I hear stories about him like swinging bats and yelling at people, yelling at you, yelling at everybody.
So did he tattoo when you were working at that shop, or he just hung out as like the boss man?
Well, obviously he was tattooing when he did my first.
I'm talking about when you worked there, though.
I started working there in '94. He was at the tail end of it. He was mostly doing the flash at that point.
Yeah.
He was really getting that going. He had Lynn in there with him doing it.
He was revolutionizing the flash game and tattooing.
Yeah, and Kevin Brady was heavily involved with it still at that point and everything. And so no, he was kind of more taking an administrative approach to what he was doing with ancient art at that point. Thus, that was my in.
Yeah.
You know.
So in 1994, Yorktown, that's the shop you started in?
Yes.
What was the climate like then? Like, what was in those days, people weren't getting real big tattoos much, were they? It was like a lot of little stuff, a lot of cartoon stuff, beach stuff, right?
Kanjis were getting real popular at that point.
Goldberg tattoo came not long after that.
Yeah, we had $35 minimum. You know, we were busy from the time we opened the doors till we closed them.
That's the shit.
Was Lynn in there at that time? Did she have her own drawing station?
Lynn was the only one that had a drawing station at that point. You know, back then, if you had to cut a stencil, you had a little light box that was in your station.
Yeah.
You went off of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, Crow's taking more of an administrative approach to it and everything. And what he had done is, I started an apprenticeship in the fall of 1994. I was there probably a month, maybe 6 weeks, and he bumped me. He owed a biker friend of his a favor whose son wanted in. So he bumped me, and I thought I was done. I was running around with the gang in Hampton thinking that was going to be my end with tattooing. They were willing to fund it, equipment, you know, whatever I needed. But Jerry Thomas was in charge of my apprenticeship. Crow, he gave the okay, but it wasn't a hands-on thing between me and Crow. It was Jerry Thomas that taught me. They got the guy that they bumped me for good to go and everything. Jerry Thomas brings me back in. And I told him, I was like, hey, you know, well, if this isn't going to work out for me, I've got some friends. And he was like, no, you're in. And I was like, okay. And they told me at that point I was going to be there. I was going to be at the Yorktown location. The guy they trained, they sent to Carrollton, which was Crow's second location.
Right.
That was March of '95. So I was gone for a couple of months, and I came back, and that's when I officially started my apprenticeship. And Crow had not done a tattoo since that point.
Gotcha. So you wrote motherfucker in those days? I'm not trying to say
It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun to come to work some days,
Yeah.
but it was different then. You know, I mean, they were bikers.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean when I say what was the climate.
Okay, it was transitioning from bikers to the more punk rock, skateboard people.
That was your generation, right?
Correct,
Yeah,
correct. I'm 55 years old,
Yeah.
so yeah, I was, you know, 94, I was 24 years old.
Yeah.
And that was about as young as Crow was willing to take somebody at that point. You know, I tried to get in when I was 21. I've been a customer since I was, you know, as I said, 87, I was 17. I got my first one with a fake ID.
I love
you
it.
know?
Yeah.
Didn't even have to show it to him though. Walked in, you know, it was a Saturday. Halloween was a Saturday that year. Walked in, my dad had taken me. He didn't want me to go get some bullshit from somebody, so he was like, hey, you know, we'll go. I'd been to Doctor Who.
Okay.
We'd gone there first.
You don't hear that name a lot. That's a Virginia legend.
Okay, so I go in there, the door locks behind you at Doctor Who's place. All right, so we walk in, he's like, what do you want? I had Misfits t-shirt, you know, the exact design. Showed it to him, he goes, oh, you want a goddamn Reaper? There's 50 on the wall, find it. It's like, okay, you know, I'm a 17-year-old kid, I'm like, all right, you know. I stood there 40 minutes staring at the wall. I didn't know any better, you know. I thought, well, maybe he does got this design up here or something,
Sure.
you know. I mean, whatever. So anyway, couldn't find it. Go to leave. I'm locked in. Like, didn't turn into as big an ordeal as we thought it would, but you know, he had to come and let me out.
Right,
you know?
right.
So we leave. We end up in Yorktown, going to Crow's shop. At that point, he wasn't doing anything. He was just sitting there, and he was like, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
I held up the t-shirt, showed it to him. He goes, are you 18? I said, yeah, I'm 18. He goes, all right, it's going to be $75. I was like, all right. He took my t-shirt, threw it right on the copier, ran a stencil directly from that. I sat right there, bam.
Hell yeah.
Good to go.
Stoked too, weren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's Halloween. We're at a party that night. You know, I mean, I've got probably a layer of ointment on it that thick.
Back
You
in
know,
those days, man, they were telling us to put Noxzema on. Well, 96, I got my first tattoo, and they told us to put Noxzema on at H&R.
I heard that.
And Rona.
Jack Rudy told him
Yeah.
that trick.
we were at a Richmond convention, and I had just gotten a black and gray piece done on my shin, and the tattoo goo people had come in,
Yeah.
wanting us to, you know, have it on the counter and stuff like that. Crow wasn't going for that kind of shit, so they had left samples. And we were at a tattoo convention up in Richmond, and I had some with me, and that tattoo was fresh, and I put it on, it kind of burned.
Yeah.
So we're in the elevator, and I'm bitching about it. You know, I'm like, God damn it, you know, what the fuck is in that shit, you know? So somebody behind me goes, what do you got? And I turn around and look, and it's Jack Rudy. And I was like, oh, I got this tattoo on my shin. He goes, let me see it. I showed it to him. It's black and gray. So all you need is Noxzema cold cream. I was like, okay, so, you know, go to the bathroom, wash that shit off, go down to the pharmacy, get the cold cream, perfect.
Yeah, that's when I healed my first probably 4 or 5 tattoos from.
When you were there, was Lynn already there when you started?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd do anything to been sitting in there watching her draw.
I mean, people would come in asking for obscure stuff, and I would, you know, I mean, it's not like today.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, she would be like, hey, Chad, and she would slip me a little tracing paper under the blind. Because she sat right behind me. Her safe was right behind me, and all that separated us was a old-fashioned blind. All that separated Crow from us was a curtain.
So she would whip it up and just give you a line job?
Mm-hmm.
That's the shit.
Yeah.
She's responsible for, I think the best shit Crow ever put out was hers.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, she's legendary. And people don't know it, you know? Nothing against Crow, but, you know, people don't know that she was the deal. You know what I'm saying?
Were you there when she tried to tattoo?
No, that was before me.
Oh, okay. I know he.
I know what it was. I know it was a wolf that she attempted to do. And from what I hear, it didn't go well for anybody.
No, I heard you.
There were tears involved, I believe.
Yeah, I'll do anything to go back there and watch her draw, I think.
I gotta get warmed up, man. I did 15 of these at the 20th, so I gotta get ready for Shenandoah Rose. I gotta do them with the 5 in them. I did yours?
No,
Oh,
Porter did mine.
I'm glad I did, but it looks like I did. It's kind of spread a little bit there. But I did one on Porter's palm. It's crazy.
Still there? It's all right.
Oh, it's showing through the other side, dog. It is crazy. But I'll never forget. You know, I don't know Mike Lee from Hero.
Yep.
Mike's a fucking wild one. So I tattooed this girl, and I was having Riley and those guys. I don't even remember who else. Young dudes that I barely knew. Break down and set up everything. And Andrew didn't know those dudes, and Riley was breaking one of my things down, and Andrew walked in and he's like, "Who the fuck are you?" Like, Andrew doesn't really talk to people that way.
No.
He barked at Riley pretty good. And I go, he's a little kid, works for Jason. I said, I told him he could do it. And Andrew's like, the fuck? So anyway, I tattooed this girl. And Mike Lee's like, I'm next. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then I was like, let me have this kid break it down and we'll do it in 10 minutes. And he goes, what, did she have AIDS or something? Let's fucking go. I'm using that shit. And I was like, all right, let's go. So I was fucking lit. You know? He was like, I don't give a fuck. And so I did it like, you know, on his forearm. Like over another tattoo that had like an open spot in it, you know. And he started squirming and hollering. I was like, I told you to get this motherfucker from Porter. You've been in and out, dog. And then the girl who I tattooed before him, her friends saw that and called window, and they were like, we want to go the same setup. And I was like, nah, y'all can't do that. No. That's not how it works. Yeah. I can't. I said, he's a lunatic and he tattoos. He can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I don't even know about that. That's crazy.
It's pretty wild, yeah. But that, I mean, I had Slim Brown and Mac Tyre. Those were pretty two wild fucking nights. Did y'all stay late at all?
No, hell no.
I think
y'all just came up for the day. Right?
They came up. He came up Friday, and I think I came up Saturday.
But just during the day.
So, well, me and Matt were there, and we stayed pretty late.
Yeah.
Yeah, we stayed for a while.
Yeah.
I think I remember hanging out with y'all right out front of the door.
Yeah.
I felt so bad, man. I came up and I was just hovering over Jill Bonnie's shoulder the whole time, to be honest with you. And then I was I was talking to Mike, and then I talked to Josh a lot. You know, I was hanging out with Josh, and then I think Ethan had lost like 30, 40 pounds or something, so I didn't even recognize him. He was just talking to me, and I was like,
yeah.
You know, and then like it hit me like right as he walked in, I was like, holy shit, man, that's crazy. It looked great. So, and then we bounced, and then
because I think you and Brandon, right?
Yeah, we all rolled up, and Joey rolled up, and
then the next day, me and Matt went.
Yeah.
That was the first time I met Rippy, and he was fucking wilding out, dude. I didn't know what to think.
How did you get on his ass that night?
No, I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I was like, man, he's like my new best friend.
Yeah, well, he gets very excited, he does.
Yeah.
Well, you know, me and John get along, but, you know, when he gets crazy, I say, John, cool the fuck out, motherfucker, right now.
Oh, it was wild.
And then he'll cuss at me a little bit, and I'll cuss at him a little bit, and it'll be pretty much over.
It was wild style for sure.
Yeah, he was.
Everybody's like, we got to hit the road. And I was like, I can't leave. I got to hear the rest of the story. That went on for about an hour and a half.
It was fun, man. You know, but it was a weird, like, tail end of COVID. And, you know, I was trying to, like, be selective about who come in the doors during the day. But then once the public was gone, I just didn't give a fuck. Everybody's tattooers, and tattooers are at their own risk, and they all know what they're doing. Fuck it, you know what I mean?
That's crazy, man. I don't think we'll ever. There could be like the worst shit would come across the United States of America, and we ain't shutting. Nobody's shutting down anymore. Like, I think that.
Well, like my man Slim said, jungle animals don't get jungle diseases. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I just don't think that shit ain't gonna fly again. We had during COVID, I had boarded up the windows.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I had like a slide window and shit.
Out here?
Yeah.
That's great.
And I didn't care. Like, the guys could come in and do what they wanted. I just didn't want to know about it. You do what you got to do.
This is a different kind of trade. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to know about it, and it's not to their benefit to tell you about it.
Yeah.
I did everything at the request of my crew. Whatever the crew wanted, whatever majority ruled, is how I played it. But I remember the day we shut down. Like, we had a group meeting, and the government was shutting us down, and everyone kind of spread out a little bit. And I've known Andrew since I was 15, and so like they all started thinning out and kind of go out the door, and each one's kind of separating. And me and him were standing there, and we just look at each other. And he's like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I go, "You want to tattoo me?" He goes, "Yep." I just fucking started pouring liquor, man, and he did this skull on me and crossed that day, and we had a fucking blast, man. And then, like I said, it did. Who knows what everybody was doing individually?
Oh, it was nuts. I was home for a day, and my wife was like, "You got to do something." I went and did some carpentry work for a buddy of mine for a couple of weeks. I just had to get out of there.
I figured you could surf the whole time.
Man, even then they were like going after surfers. It was kind of nuts.
Right.
Oh, I'm good, dude.
How do you need to go?
No, I'm still rolling on this. Like, I mean, they were like chasing people out of the water.
Great.
Yeah, it's insane. So I didn't know, but I could go out and work on, do some carpentry next to a bunch of other people, and that was perfectly fine. I just couldn't sit in here and do a tattoo, I guess. But yeah, I didn't mind nothing.
FedEx did not problem sending me out in that truck every day.
Nah, dude, you were fucking critical. But anyways,
Let me have that thing.
Keep going.
But yeah, that 20th party was dope, but I'm really hoping that the next one is a little more free flow, and I got a lot more space.
Oh yeah.
You haven't seen any of it, have you?
No,
Come on, man.
I know, dude.
Don't wait till August.
I'm a pile of shit. What do you want, dude?
Huh?
I'm a pile of shit. What do you want? God damn, I got the crazy schedule.
You booked out for a while?
And hell no, it's my kid.
Oh, yeah.
Keep
You
him
doing fucking surfing and taekwondo and fucking
everything, every day.
Come on.
Every day. Got to keep him busy every day.
I feel you.
Yeah, we kind of need to like stay over when we drive out there anymore, man. Like just driving out and back in the same day anymore.
No good.
It's like used to, man. You just get in the car and I would get in the car and drive 10 hours and be like, all
I don't
right.
want to drive nowhere, dog.
Now I'm like,
If it wasn't for that kid driving me here, I wouldn't be sitting here.
yeah.
I'm like, yeah. It's like, yeah, I'll take you down there. But I got a block of rooms for Shenandoah Rose, so there'll be a bunch of tattooers staying at the Vanawken or whatever.
I think we're going to stay. I mean, my wife wants to come up. I'll bring Carmine.
Oh, yeah. And, Massanutten Water Park is right there.
Yeah.
It's fucking 10 miles away.
Yeah.
You can be at the water park. There's trails everywhere. You want to take Carmine to the house, you can swim in the creek or in the pool, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Pretty. We'll make it easy for you.
It'll be.
But I'm gonna stay in town. I'm getting a room. I'm getting a suite for myself. I might be driving back and forth because it's 25 miles, which is not crazy, but I'll have shit to do. You know what I mean? I got probably 20 tattoos to do.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh yeah.
I don't have an alley. I worked at Alley Cat, and I don't have a Alley Cat tattoo, so I'll be definitely
Oh yeah.
getting mine for sure.
I recommend you get it from one of the other guys, but if you want it from me, I'll make your dreams come true. You can do it right after some chick I tattooed. We'll do the same setup.
Nah, absolutely not. Only one woman I'd go after. That's it.
Mike, we probably did this on yours, but where did you get your start?
Down in North Carolina, Elizabeth City.
That reminds me, I was talking to George today. What was the name of Zeke's shop in North Carolina?
Zeke's?
Was it Zeke's? I thought it was something Tiger at one point. White Tiger or Flying Tiger? Or...
I think Ace was out in San Diego when he had the San Diego one. I think it was Ace.
Zeke's was
what is the one that he sold down there? Yeah, sold it to.
Tiger. Am I wrong?
Maybe.
I don't know. JR
I
would
can
know.
find it.
But now that Mike's daughter's down there in Wilmington, he's been driving down. But he stops at a
Golden Cobra.
Golden Cobra.
Yeah, man. Shouts to fucking Smalley. He's the greatest.
Yeah, he's the shit, dude. He's so good.
Lucky Tiger tattoo.
Sends people up here all the time.
Smalley does?
Yeah.
He's the greatest.
Yeah, my daughter's going there on Saturday to get tattooed.
Okay. Remember when Smalley got tattooed across his forehead? And I saw him, I was like, God damn, I was thinking about you the other day, and I thought, what you need is another face tattoo. But he's such a sweetheart. I was in Rochester with him. It was me and Andrew and Trevor and Smalley and who did he work for? One time? Jason in Atlanta. Jason.
I know who you're talking about.
Is it Kelly?
Yeah, it is.
Jason Kelly. So we're all sitting in a booth. And these I don't know what you call these folks. Like if you see rockabilly people in our business, you're like, oh, they're that look or whatever. These motherfuckers had like one crazy dreadlock and fucking big boots and covered in black and just like crazy fucking like a mace on their fucking face or some crazy tribal shit. And Smalley looks at Jason and goes, look at these motherfuckers with their face tattoos. I'm like, you have 7 tattoos on your face. What the fuck are you talking about? He's like, yeah, but not in the middle, man. My stuff's on the side. It's like I don't even have my face tattoo. I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? I go, that's what me and Avery say when we see you walking down the fucking aisle. We're like, look at these crazy motherfuckers with the face tattoos.
Well, I remember when Nate Harmon walked into Ancient Art for the first time and Scott tattooed his face.
Those lines?
Oh no, he just added something else. He already had the lines going across his face.
Nah, he'll be here in a couple weeks.
Yeah. And Scott didn't know what to think of Nate, like when you first meet him, you just don't know, you don't know what to think about him. You find out.
I got it.
I'd love to hear it. But you don't know, like he's nice as shit and he's well read and he'd talk to you about just about anything. But Scott's just like, he's telling all this, he's like, so why'd you get your face tattooed? And he goes, I went through this crazy spiritual journey and all this stuff. He's going on for he's going on for 20 minutes. And then right when he was done, he was like, so why'd you get your face tattooed? It didn't even register. It was insane.
I've told this before, but I love Nate.
Oh, he's the best.
I love him. His nature is gentle and he's sweet.
Yeah.
And we laugh and we always have a lot of fun together. But when I'd seen pictures of him prior to meeting him, I was like, me and this motherfucker ain't the same. You know what I mean? And I just, you know Nate?
I do know Nate, and I've seen pictures of Nate that no one else should ever have to see.
Well. You can share that with us in a minute, but so I just thought me and him, we can't be simple. We're different, man. Tattoos or not, we're different. And Shane Inholm was coming to Alley Cat to play a show and do some podcasts and whatever else, and go Civil War sightseeing. And Nate was like, DM'd me, and I didn't know him, and he was like, hey, I'm coming up there to see Shane's thing. And I said, okay. And I just was like, I kind of had a chip on my shoulder. When he got there, and I was so hard on him that I was charging him $1 a beer to hang out. I was not nice to him. I wasn't a dick, but I was just like, I don't know that if I can trust this guy. He looks crazy. And he put up with him. He looks crazy. One crazy fucking mud lock and, just a wild looking dude. And he put up with me I wasn't being rude to him, but I wasn't being welcoming at all. And then Shane comes to me and goes, "Hey, can this guy sleep in your shop tonight?" And I go, "Fuck no, he can't sleep in my shop. Are you crazy?" And he's like, "All right, well, he's going to sleep in your parking lot." And I was like, "That's fine with me." And he put up with me being a dick, and the next morning, he was just, like I said, I wasn't mean, but I wasn't welcoming. The next morning, he was just as nice and just as friendly and accepted all that shit. And that day I gave him free beer. And then I talked to him a bunch that day and realized, like I said, like he's gentle by nature and he loves tattoo and he loves...
He's the best.
Everything. Exactly, he's the best. And so we did a podcast together. He got kind of wild. He told some crazy fucking stories and drank a bunch of moonshine. And then he accused me of setting him up by giving him moonshine. I gave him a gift of a quart of moonshine as like a thank you for doing this, and I'm sorry I was hard on you. And he just started just drinking it like it was fucking water.
Yeah. That's how he goes.
Crazy. And so just telling crazy shit. And I'm like, don't be mad at me because you got loose as a goose, you know what I'm saying? But we've had so much fun together, and I still gift him moonshine when I see him, and I love him.
Yeah, Mike's traveled with him a bunch.
Yeah, I love Nate.
He comes down here and he helps
Scotty.
Yeah, he really helps Scott out, like he really helps wrangle that in, and
yeah.
I mean that's a real task, and it takes a real special person to.
It takes patience.
It takes patience.
And I love Scott, and I know you guys love Scott too. And when I say that, it's not to be disrespectful, but he's an old guy and he's going through whatever he's going through sometimes here and there, and sometimes it's difficult. But we all love Scott, and it's great of Nate to be involved as much as
he steps up. Him and Mike. Dude, Mike is Mike.
And Mike, you can probably speak this better than anybody in the room if you travel with him. But one of the things I love about him is that he'll get on a fucking airplane looking like a lunatic and just be regular as fuck. He knows what he's saying. Yeah. And he treats folks sweet, and he's real nice and polite to everybody, knowing that his look is disarming to them, but he doesn't. He's just himself, and he's sweet to everybody. I love it. So you saw some risque photos of
Are you trying to pull that photo up right now?
Unfortunately, yes.
Trying to find it.
He didn't send it to me. He sent it to Mike.
Yeah, but
Mike got the first viewing of it.
Well, I woke up to a morning photo. And it's
and the whole background is he was having to go get a colonoscopy done.
Okay.
Yeah. So he Nate's a little extreme, so he wanted to give his doctor a little treat and got a devil face tattooed right around his butthole. I mean, like the mouth is open and that's his butthole. So he sent Mike a picture, cocked back, spread eagle. Mike brings it in here and he's like, "Oh, hey, you want to see a picture of Nate's new tattoo?" And I was like, "Oh, well, who did it?" He goes, "Oh, his girlfriend did it." And I was like, "Sure, let's see." And he got it.
You might have to show me, Mike. I believe everything you guys tell me.
Yeah, it was wild.
It's a good one.
You ever see that crazy spider Josh Brown sitting around?
I ain't heard from Josh in a long time.
That's my dog.
Usually I'll get a random text message every once in a while.
Yeah, he sends me like a lot of stuff on Instagram, crazy shit. That's my guy. I don't know if I have it in here, but it's, looking up stuff on your phone is not good for
the podcast. No.
Oh, there we go.
But I'm trying to get him to come down here. That's amazing.
Yeah, this will be worse than Nate's.
Talk about getting staph infection or something. God knows.
Anyway.
Yeah, I haven't heard from Josh in a while. I talk to George every once in a while as much as I can. And like I said, with all the, won't get into it, but all the bullshit going down, like I said, Shannon brought me into that. I had no idea what was going on because I don't really pay attention too much, but,
right.
Yeah,
I didn't. Sarah told me. I didn't know.
But Shannon, that when I got her to talk to you at Norfolk was hilarious. She couldn't believe. She was like, "I don't think he likes me." I was like,
Why?
"Nick he doesn't dislike anybody. He just don't know you."
Yeah. That's all that is. That's how it goes.
But and then once I broke the ice, she was just like, "He's so nice. He's so nice." I was like, "He's the best."
Good. I try to be, I'm just me, man. I just do my best to be me.
But she's ride or die. She's ready to. Let me tell you. She loves George Archer. That's all I gotta say about that.
So. We talked about it a little bit earlier. George came up, he did the 50th episode of No Lies Just Bullshit, and I didn't know him that well. And I had referenced a tattoo that he didn't do, and he kind of got kind of sharp with me real quick. And we didn't know each other, and I was like, oh, cool. Of me, I thought like I said, he kind of was slick with me, but I also made a mistake or whatever. And but he was staying with me that night, and I had friends of mine in town for my birthday who were already at my house. And so we finished the podcast, we hung out for a little bit, and then went out to the crib, and I had all my friends there, and then my buddy Skylar immediately made George dinner. He was just like, what the fuck?
I met Skylar at your house.
Huh?
I met him at your house.
Yeah. And he's a great cook, man. And George, like I said, he made this amazing gourmet burger and fresh made fries and all this stuff. And he's like, this guy just hang out and cook for you? And I was like, oh man, he's just here for my birthday. And so the next day we were cooking a whole hog. I was trying to explain to Skylar and Robin and this other fella, and this is a long time ago, that like the impact that George and Josh had made on tattooing in Richmond, during a certain era, and how they were doing classic stuff, but they were using blues and greens in a different way, and it had like a weird feel to it. And I was trying to express that what an influence that was on people. And George looks at those dudes and goes, "Yeah, I invented tattooing. Let's keep going. Let's not focus on that." You know what I mean? And we had a good laugh out of that.
That's a perfect response from George.
Yeah.
But he's like the most humble person. He has no idea.
Oh, he's great.
No idea.
And Lane's great, and the kids, all that. Meta goes to Jen.
Yeah. And little George is back in Richmond, which is awesome. It's crazy. It's so crazy because I remember him as such small children.
Yeah.
And now it's like I see him on, social media, and I'm like, holy shit, George is massive,
Yeah.
Looks like Keith Maynard. Looks like a full-blown grown man.
Yeah.
So you said y'all are 9 years here. How many shops are in Virginia Beach?
Like 60.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's crazy.
Prior to y'all, how many were there?
We were the 13th shop to open in Virginia Beach.
Wow.
When I moved here, there were 2.
Yeah,
What was that?
01.
01.
When I started, there was 3. So that was 01 to I started in 08, and in that time there was only one shop that had opened since then, and now there's like 60.
I did the second legalized tattoo in Virginia Beach when that happened.
Oh yeah. Where?
Yeah. At Ancient Art. Crow, he got that floodgate open.
Yeah.
And Joey Nobody did the first one live on the air. Radio disc jockey got it.
Oh, I thought maybe on Wavy TV 10 or something.
No, nah.
And what's crazy is I go back and I was living out in California when I was like 19 or 20. When I came back when I was 21, and I broke my leg real bad, and it was in August when I broke my leg, and I was getting my surgery splint taken off, and all the staples taken out during 9/11 when the plane crashed into the tower. I remember watching it sitting in the waiting room, and talking to Chad and stuff. I had just realized that was almost exactly when when tattooing got legalized in Virginia Beach. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was right there in 2001. And I was like, man, how crazy would that have been? You finally fight the city to finally open up in Virginia Beach, and then how was it like a couple weeks later? Not even when 9/11 happened. And you think, Jesus Christ, like here it is. We're probably going to war. We fought so hard to get tattooing in the city, and it's just it's going to be done. It probably ended up being the best thing for tattooing ever. Everybody got so patriotic and stuff.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been but a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it
Because I
was.
think it was August.
I think it was August.
Of 2001.
Yeah. I did that.
The doors opened.
Yeah.
Alley Cat opened September 1st, 2001. But I hadn't moved up here yet. Or I hadn't moved to Harrisonburg yet. I was still in Roanoke. And I was making jewelry for Troy, who was the original owner. And I was working in the warehouse. And I was piercing a couple days a week and running like the front. And I was at the warehouse in Roanoke. And there was a guy who finished furniture next door, this old hillbilly. And he comes running into the machine shop and he goes, "There's been a terrible accident. A plane hit a building in New York." And he ran out. And then he came back 20 minutes later. He's like, "It wasn't an accident. 2 planes hit the Twin Towers," and he was hysterical and going nuts. And I was like, "What the fuck?" And, and Troy was the type of guy that was just like, he didn't pay attention to anything outside of what was in front of him. And so he's just like, "Hey man, load this shit and get to Harrisonburg," And I remember leaving there was just nobody on the streets in Roanoke. And this was like...
everybody's glued to the TV.
Yeah. And then I get on 81, and there's nobody on 81. So I tune to radio, and I start listening to all the goings on, and it sounds crazy, and I'm thinking it's like Red Dawn.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm it's just a matter of time before I start seeing people falling out of the sky, just like people parachuting in, they're gonna fucking take over. And I'm just trying to get to Harrisonburg, and it was just fucking the whole way. I hardly saw any traffic on 81, which is absurd to think of. And I remember getting to the tattoo shop, and the parking lot was empty, and that intersection right by the old shop is just endlessly nothing. And I thought, this fucking shop's not gonna make it. No one's gonna come outside. No, people are gonna stop spending money. Terrified, you know what I'm saying? And the cards fell where they fell. But I remember that day like it was yesterday. And like I said, our buddy Mike he said he was a country boy. The thought him being able to watch a plane hit a building.
Oh yeah.
And he was in his 60s then. It was nuts, man. He was hysterical.
So when I was thinking about all that stuff happening, I knew tattooing got legalized in 2001, and just last year we have I had to do all this this research just a year ago. Not even. We have this the Vanawken, the Museum of Contemporary Art here, and I don't know. It's over the summer I did that thing there's a tattooer up in New York. His name's Duke Riley. I'd never met him before. About 2 years ago, he did a pretty crazy exhibit in this contemporary art museum that we have at the beach. It was insane, right? And I have a friend that's one of the higher ups in the museum, and she asked, "Hey, we got this guy coming in. He's a tattooer from New York," and I was like, "Okay," and she was like, "I'd really like you to kind of I want to bring him around. Would you mind if I bring him to the tattoo shop?" And I was like, "Okay." So he came in, and this was before he did his show. I met him, and we always keep rubbings of with Coleman's grave and stuff here. We always hand them out whoever walks in or whatever. I think I had 4 or 5 of them left up there. And I think at the time I had a couple Paul Rogers grave rubbings. So I gave him those, talked to him about tattooing around here. And I didn't know what an artist he was. I saw his tattoos and I was like, okay, it kind of does more folky style tattooing, sure. Illustrations, kind of whatever. And I looked at stuff and I was like, oh man, this guy's a crazy artist, man. He does some wild shit. He's all over the place. This motherfucker, I remember when I was living in Long Island, I remember at that time hearing about this guy that made a makeshift submarine that was after some it was the Revolutionary War or the Civil War. They had this submarine that they made. They tried to crash into this British ship. Well, he built a replica and sent this shit out in Brooklyn to a British flagship. Of course, he got arrested. Got arrested for all this shit. But all this stuff was insane, And then the deeper I was diving into this, I was like, man, this guy's a crazy artist, man. Everything that he's doing is so. I think he's got his masters. So it's everything He's got like a master's in fine art. So every art project he has is like so thoroughly thought out and so rooted in whatever he's doing. It's shocking to read about. So fast forward, I meet him. This is when he's coming in to kind of like look at the space. He gets picked, he does it. His stuff goes up there and he does this crazy exhibit. It's insane. Like making fishing lures out of trash. He does these giant they're called Sailor's Valentines, which are these crazy I don't even know. They're like collages out of like seashells and found trash. And it's insane. Some of them are like 10 feet tall and they're just insane. So I had to do a little bit, and she asked if I could do like this like artist talk at the museum for him, right? So I went home and I did all this stuff, and I always knew that tattooing and my whole frame of reference of talk, I don't know anything about fine art. I know about tattooing. So my whole frame of reference was, well, I'm going to research the tattooing side because that's all I really know. I knew tattooing got legalized in 2001. I know, when it got criminalized, when they were trying to clean up Norfolk from all the, bullshit of, well, there was a hepatitis outbreak and they fucking, pinned it on like tattooers, even though prostitution was.
Hookers were really.
Yeah, it was insane. But and then also, tattooing back then they were sponge and bucket, so I'm sure it didn't help. But so I went through all these dates and I'm looking at it and I'm going through and I'm trying to like figure out what I know about my life and being in this, because all of his artwork is based around the Tidewater or like areas around maritime and stuff like that. So I'm trying to like bring in all these like things that are relevant in my life, where my family grew up. They had tour shops down at the beach, and a lot of his artwork, he was doing this stuff called Rose Glass, which was like these like souvenir shops back in the days. They had these rose glass, which is this red glass, like it was like shot glasses or like little mini glasses that would have like etchings of like Virginia Beach or whatever coastal town it was in. Sure. And I've never seen it. My family's owned tour shops my whole life. I grew up in like tours. When I was one, my uncle had a tour shop out in Ocean View where my whole first summer was just in a tour shop, and then they owned tour shops down at the oceanfront where I was, and my whole childhood I was running either change from store to store or whatever. That was here in Virginia Beach. Yeah. So
I'm sure I went into him as a kid.
Well, I'm sure he did. So his art, he did like part of his art at this thing was he was developing a story about it was like kind of around the mid-century, in the 50s or so. Before that, people didn't really take vacations. And then around that time, after World War II, these little coastal towns like Ocean City really started popping off, Virginia Beach, and even on the Eastern Shore there was a couple, and they were kind of like these like low budget, like, working class people started taking vacations. Right. And so there's a part of his art where he goes into this like kind of souvenir thing, and it has like he's etching like kind of like, since he's a tattooer, he had some like tattoo designs etched in this glass, and I kind of went off on a tangent about that stuff, and that's when I started going in on all this history. And then that's when I think I had that discussion with you about when I was like, holy shit, I didn't realize, like, I think about 2001 tattooing being legalized in Virginia Beach. Yeah. I didn't even think about the ramifications of this being the largest naval base in the world, and that happening, and everybody probably got shipped out immediately. Like, I'm sure, you guys think you struck gold immediately, and then it was like,
oh, that's what you're saying. Yeah.
Pandemonium, probably stepped in. Like I couldn't even imagine. I wasn't.
Didn't skip a beat, man.
Didn't even skip a beat, huh?
Not a beat. Because you got to figure, going back to Zeke Owens, he was there. He had come when we opened up the beach, and he was part of that, and he was letting it rip every day. If he wasn't doing the fence, he wasn't leaving until he did.
I walked
the fence, $1,000.
Yeah.
Total.
I walked into Ancient Art, and right after that, I'd come home. I was thinking about getting a tattoo. I walked into Ancient Art, and by this time, I'd already been into Absolute. The old Absolute was the old one.
Lotus.
and I walked in, and I didn't get the the brightness of the flash, like it was just so bright. Like the white paper, everything was so white, it was so laminated, and I was kind of like turned off by it. I just didn't understand when I saw it. And I remember walking in, and I didn't realize who it was, but it was Zeke Owens, and I watched him hit a kid in the head with a tracing pad. Like he had like a little thing of like tracing paper, and I remember it was had like 2 or 3 different colored pencil drawings of a dragon on it, and I don't think the kid liked it, and I just watched him hit him in the head, and I was like, oh, I'm out of here. Dude, fuck this place.
So how long did you work with Zeke?
Just for
Just like
working
the
with him,
opening
just
of that?
just that stint, and I would say he was probably there 3 weeks, maybe.
Yeah. Was it wild?
Was he wild?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was nuts. He had just come from Thailand. I didn't recognize him.
Was that after he had his face off?
Yeah, the first time I met Zeke Owens, he looked like a wizard. Okay,
long hair, long beard.
And a good story about that. Okay, I'm working at Ancient Art, and Crow, when he left on Friday, that was it. We weren't to call him for anything. You know, when he came back Monday morning, if there was anything needed dealt with, he would deal with it then.
Yeah.
You know, we were on our own. You know, he was living in Virginia Beach. You know, we were up there in Yorktown.
Yeah.
So anyway, all weekend this guy's calling and he's like, "Hey, I need Crow's home number. I need to talk to Crow." And I'm just like, "No, you know, you got to be kidding me." You know.
You and 10 other motherfuckers. Right?
Yeah. So you know, this happens like four or 5 times over the course of the weekend. So Crow pulls up that morning, and Zeke Owens is beside him. Zeke Owens pulls up in a Corvette beside Crow and everything, and Crow comes in. We're already there, and he goes, "So, any action this weekend?" And I'm like, "Not really anything out of the usual, except some asshole kept calling here, insisting on me giving you his home number." And Zeke Owens looks right at me and goes, "That asshole would be me, and you've lined yourself up for an ass whipping." So it was going to be on.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Great.
you know, in my 20s still at that point, you know, and I was ready to go outside.
Ready to
with
fight
him.
this wizard.
So anyway, we open up at Virginia Beach. I didn't even recognize him. He had just come straight from Thailand, and he'd got a facelift done, and it was so fresh it was still bleeding from behind his ears. With this thing.
Thailand.
Yeah. And well, the good thing about that was he'd fallen in love.
Well, I
Should
was
we
like,
talk
did you
about
bring a
this?
woman?
Yeah, he's
Yeah, okay.
dead.
Okay, all right.
All right.
He'd fallen in love with a prostitute while he was there. Bought her tits. She was on the table next to him when all this was going down.
Man, talk about true love.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. That's beautiful.
All right,
That's a love story. Like,
He comes here, he's
So
working with
grandkids.
us, you know, and there's funny shit going on. Like somebody says, "Hey man, you're bleeding behind your ear," you know, and he's like, "Oh, I cut myself shaving," and it's like, "What were you shaving? Your
Was his shit
ears?"
pulled back crazy.
I didn't even recognize him. Yeah, he had shaved off his beard, colored his hair. I'd mistaken him for another guy that was there. This guy Steve that we used to work with. Yeah, it was like, and I go to Crow. I'm like, "Crow, what the hell happened? Zeke Owens found the fountain of youth," you know, and Crow's like, "You don't want to know," you know. But anyway, Zeke proceeds to tell us all this shit.
Yeah.
We're working with this guy Chris Garcia, who owns Red 5 down the street. Okay, he's a Filipino gentleman, nicest guy. Zeke Owens, for some reason, goes to him and he's like, "Hey, having this trouble." Chris is like, "Okay," and he goes, "Do you know how to sneak somebody into the country by chance? Would it be safer to go through Hawaii or?" And Chris Garcia's like,
He's probably like, how would I know?
"Yeah, exactly," you know, and we're just like, "All right." So yeah, Zeke Owens was quite the character.
Oh man, that's great. That's fucking crazy. He got a facelift in the same room while his girl was getting titties.
So if you see him,
That's
if you see him on that Sailor Jerry documentary,
yeah.
that's after the facelift. And then if you see that, there's some other old video that he made where he's tattooing
tattooing.
and he's
Where he does that bulldog.
yeah, and he's full wizard.
Yeah,
You know, full long beard and all that stuff. and it's not even the same person. It's crazy, you know.
He was just a lunatic, right?
But like I said, I saw him hit that guy in the face or in the head.
Was it playful or was it like shut the fuck up?
It was like shut the fuck up.
Okay.
I mean, this was like 2001. You know, I mean, tattooing. You know, I didn't start till 2007 is when I did my first tattoo. But my friends were all getting tattooed in the late 90s. And I remember going to Army Navy. I remember the door being like the glass was broken, and everybody was just smoking cigs inside, and they were terrifying because they were all bikers, you know. And then when my friends went, you know, to art school at VCU, like that's when I got to go see like Alive. Like, you know, my buddies were getting tattooed by Timothy.
Yeah.
They were getting real. They were getting like they weren't getting biker tattoos, you know. They're getting like crazy tattoos.
Man, oh my god.
And then I was gonna say then by the time when I came back from California, it was, I was 21 years old, you know, like tattooing just got legalized in Virginia Beach, and I wanted to see what it was about. And when I walked in there, I was like, yo, this place is like, well, you know, I see Zeke, you know, that's my first take is like watching Zeke, you know, flipping out on some poor kid, hitting him in the head. And I was like, I'm out of here. This place is fucking nuts.
Yeah, so to speak to you working for Crow, and it didn't have to be Zeke that called and asked for his number a bunch. I worked for a biker in Roanoke back in the day, and I don't know about you working for Crow, but me working for this fella, every fucking biker for 100 miles tried to impress upon me how close they were to my boss. Would you have people rolling in and being like, me and Crow did this, and me and Crow's my buddy, and just get Crow on the phone and he'll straighten this out and all that shit?
Very much so.
Oh.
And see, Crow was he was separating himself from that at that point.
Right.
You know? I mean, he's always going to be
part of your responsibility to help him do that.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I feel like that still happens.
I mean, I had to go through the process of weeding out with Kevin Brady. Yeah. You know, Kevin Brady was working with him a lot, doing a lot of flash sending it to him, and you know, when he went off the deep end and it was bad, you know, he would be calling the shop, you know, every couple hours, you know, and just be like, oh, well, you know, is Crow back? And no, Kevin, he's not here. I don't expect him back today. Well, it's important that I talk to him, you know, and I mean, Crow would wire in cash, you know, and he would send, you know, stack of maybe half-done flash sheets. Lynn would finish them, clean them up, you know, whatever. Yeah. I mean, to this day, I still think Kevin Brady's one of the more talented people I ever saw.
Sure.
You pick up a pencil. Yeah. Short of Tony. Tony's pretty.
Tony's all right.
Yeah, he's pretty crafty with a pencil.
I don't want to hear it.
Tony's a circle meathead.
That whole biker, like, I mean, Crow was all biker back then. Mike started from Mike worked for a real biker, like a real biker. You know, like, dude went to prison, and that's when Mike got to start working. So,
yeah.
Like,
what city in North Carolina is that?
Elizabeth City.
Yeah. I mean, I worked for Mike Golden, Grizz, Dustin's dad, and he was the real deal.
Yeah.
He was not fucking playing.
That's Mike's guy was running guns and had to go to prison. And Mike, you know, I couldn't even imagine back then. You tell me stories of filling in whole back pieces with like an 8-round.
Yeah, it was wild.
Didn't know any better. Didn't even know any better.
Man. So, you know, Grizz was an important person in my development. And me understanding this business and what's personal and what's not. And, you know, a lot about this business, you know. And I'm very fortunate to have had that, as well as having, like, Timothy tell me what's important, and Brian tell me what's important, and people that are the opposite of Grizz. And I always wanted to get him on a podcast, and he just wouldn't do it. Talking on a recording is just, like, not something he did. Yeah. And he's a rough guy. And so I tried, and he said no a bunch. And I was coming to Roanoke one time, and Nate Hall hit me up. And Nate's, you know, you guys know Nate, he's the fucking best guy. And he was like, I'm coming. I was coming to Roanoke. He's like, I'm coming to Roanoke from Greensboro. I'm going to go to Skin Throws, and that was Grizz's shop. And we're going to meet Dustin there. Let's do a show. Let's do a podcast. And I was like, okay, you know, that'll be dope. And So I got to town. I think I was seeing my accountant in Salem or something like that. And I got a room and I got a bottle of liquor. And I went to Hardee's and got a fucking loose cup of fucking Coke. So I just exactly what I'm doing here tonight. And I get over there and they're like, let's go in the basement. So tattoo shop upstairs and apartment on one side, and then the basement was like a 2-car garage plus a full-on like, you know, shop where you could work on cars, work on motorcycles, work on everything, and then like a couple seats and like a little lounge area. And I go down there and I pull this thing out and we start talking and stuff, and Chris just comes in there and sits down for a minute, and I'm like, fuck yeah, you know, I'm gonna get something out of the old man, you know what I mean? It's gonna be great. And Chris and I are tight, you know, for many years, and so we tell, you know, and it's me, Nate, and Dustin, and we're just fucking smoking a ton of trees and just telling just crazy, just laughing, having so much fun. And Grizz just sitting there the whole time. And then Grizz kind of stands up and pulls his shorts up a little bit and sits back down here. I'll tell you one. And I was like, oh, here we go. So he had a shop down the street from the shop that we were in originally, and he moved up there, but it was next to a pizzeria, and he was talking about it. But he was talking about tattooing this guy. I don't remember what the design was. And so he finishes up, and the guy wants to go smoke a cigarette. So he walks outside to give the guy aftercare instructions while he's smoking. And the guy's like, hey man, I don't want to hear that shit. And Chris is like, I just want to explain this to you real quick. And the guy's like, I got tattoos, motherfucker. I don't want to hear that shit. And Chris is like, God didn't listen to me, I'm talking. And Chris was like, not a guy you told, leave me alone. Big motherfucker, man. Intimidating looking guy. And the guy was like, I fucking healed tattoos before. He goes, you could puke on this fucking tattoo and I can still heal it. So Grizz fucking goes in the fucking tattoo shop and gets a picture that he had and fucking throws up in the motherfucker and brings it back out. And he goes, now pour this on your tattoo, bitch. And the guy's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And Grizz said, you heard me, motherfucker. Pour that on your tattoo and get the fuck out of here. And this motherfucker pours vomit on his fresh tattoo. Chris kicks him out of the fucking parking lot. And Chris goes,
Christ.
There's a story for you. I didn't say another word the rest of the fucking night.
Holy shit. No.
He wasn't the guy that you told, I don't want to hear that shit. You didn't say that to Chris. You know what I mean? And it was, goddamn, we were all just smoking, just blunt after joint after joint after joint. And then we lost it. Grizz laughed real hard, and then he just didn't say another word the whole fucking rest of the fucking podcast.
I always hear old stories, you know, from Crow, and you know when you meet Crow now, he's just nice, and he gives you the softest handshake, and he's
looks the other way.
Yeah, he's very, you know, it's just. But you hear these stories of him like making people put like a cutout of a cardboard over their shoulder so he couldn't see what, you know, like they couldn't look at him tattooing his arm and shit.
Really?
And like being wild, like just wild shit. And I'm like, man, he's just the nicest old man right now. Like I just, you know, and then you see these old pictures of him and he doesn't look, you know, too intimidating. He wasn't a big guy, you know.
He didn't look like a nice guy either,
No.
He didn't look like he wants to talk to you.
No. But Jerry Thomas, the guy that taught him, was a big guy.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'll tell you, Crow always made it sound like when push came to shove, Jerry Thomas was a lover, not a fighter, you know. He's just like, you know, I'm going to back down. And I guess Crow was the tough guy back then, which is kind of wild.
Then Charlie Bond taught Jerry. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, my God. And that's another one. Mike just, like, before Charlie Bond died, Mike would just...
I would help him out.
Take him places, all kinds of shit.
Get him dinner, you know, go see him. Ran stencils for him here, so he had a room in his house. I got tattooed by Eric Inksmith at his house.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
What was that like? A motherfucker, wasn't it?
So,
a real prick.
So, my daughter was in kindergarten.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Eric Inksmith. I was thinking Eric Perfect for a minute. Anyway.
Eric Perfect comes down here every 3 weeks for pain management.
3 months.
Every 3 months. Stays with Mike.
Now? Currently? I love Perfect. He's such a
he's awesome.
prick, and I just love that attitude and the fucking shit talk, and he's just a motherfucker, and I love it.
It takes a while. Like these guys are.
The room doesn't warm up to it very easily. You know what I'm saying? He'll walk in my shop and be like, "Hey, sweetheart, go give me a Coke," and I'm just like, "Oh."
Next time you ask Cohen his how he met Eric
Perfect.
at my house. It was pretty funny. But so my kid was in kindergarten, and she had an afternoon kindergarten. So I was like, "Oh, I'll go get this tattoo. It's just a tiger head. It's gonna be like an hour or so, you know." So my daughter's hanging out with Charlie Bond out in the living room watching TV. I'm in the room on the table, you know, and Eric's just, you know, first of all, he goes, "Which one do you want?" And I picked out a Hardy one. He's like, "Oh, everybody wants that one." So I ended up picking out a different one. Got it. Made a stencil for him, put it on. And then he asked my daughter, he goes, "You think your dad's a better tattooer than me?" And my kid's like, "Oh yeah," and way faster. Man, she missed school. I felt so bad. Like she couldn't even get her. Then you know, my ex-wife at the time was like, "You didn't take her to school?" I was like, I was getting tattoos.
She was getting an education.
Exactly.
I mean,
Charlie Bond. That's way more valuable.
Oh man. Well, Charlie loved her. He was real good with her, you know.
But Mike doesn't. Mike has 100 stories like that. Tell him about the story about the dude that showed up at your house in the hearse. God damn. I'd have divorced you right there on the spot.
Yeah, I had he was a guy from Chicago, biker. The president of a club up there came to visit me, but he came to the door and he still had these gloves on that had metal knuckles and shit. And I told him, I was like, "While you're on your way to Florida, stop by and you can crash on the couch, you know, and sleep." And then, you know, well, my ex was like, "Who the fuck is this
Dude, he
guy?"
showed up in a hearse.
And,
driving a hearse.
And like took both kids and went in my bedroom and locked the door. Like, she was like, "I don't know who the fuck."
Oh, I thought you meant he took your kid.
No, he slept on the couch, you know, but he was just like, you know.
He showed up with leather gauntlets on with spikes and shit,
like,
driving a hearse.
You know. And
Mike lives in the burbs, dude. He doesn't live like...
The chief of police, my next door neighbor.
Like, he lives like in a nice-ass neighborhood, you know, like normal. But and his ex-wife was like normal, like, you know, suburban white mom, dude, and just had this guy showing up. But that's how Mike rolls, dude. He knows that.
In a hearse.
So Perfect comes down here and fucking kicks it with you.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
He does.
Well, he flies in on a Monday and stays Monday night, and Tuesday he goes to the doctor usually, and Wednesday leaves.
Yeah.
He does pain management here.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have him for a few days.
He's great.
Grab breakfast and
I love him. He's a
Waffle
loud.
House, you know.
Huh?
He loves his Waffle House.
Yeah, hell yeah. He's the perfect Philly scumbag. You know what I mean? Philly's full of him, and he's like the leader. I love him, straight up. He talks shit, so much shit to me, and I'll talk shit back. But he's also like, he put me and Andrew on his Perfect Tattoo Tales or whatever.
Yep.
And he's done the podcast, and he's just, if he's traveling the East Coast, he comes to Alley Cat, and I just like the hell out of him. And I understand, when people are. I understand he can come off a little abrasive, but that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. This is tattooing. This ain't Candyland. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking great as far as I'm concerned. But if someone says he's a prick, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it.
He brings dog treats for Mike's dogs and shit.
Cat.
Zeke stories, the facelift stories.
I mean, I would just be like retelling one. What about the one where he went panning for gold?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Who was it that put him in charge? Somebody left him in charge of their shop, like in Washington State.
Yeah.
Scott Sterling would be able to tell you this story better than us,
Sure.
but
He might have already.
Yeah, somebody had came in wanting tattooed and
Had found a nugget.
yeah.
And Zeke was like, "Yo, where did you find that?" And he was supposed to be running this guy's shop for a month, and just closed the door and put a sign on it. "I'll be back."
He went panning for gold.
And just went up to Alaska.
You make any to Alaska?
Yeah.
Damn. Did you make any bread doing that?
I don't think he ever found anything.
Scotty always talked about him doing, like when he came here to work, I guess he had like everything he owned like in a shipping container or something.
Well, it stayed in Crow's garage for a while.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
He had everything in Crow's garage. And finally, I think Crow was like,
when he showed up, he had his own guy with him.
So what?
He had his own guy with him when he showed up.
Guy?
Like a helper for here.
Oh, okay. Like the shop?
Yeah,
assistant.
Yeah. He it just waited on him.
Wow.
Yeah, his name was Doc. He was an old roadie from, I don't know, maybe Leonard Skinner. He was a Florida guy or something like that. The Marshall Tucker Band or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's some wild shit. I missed all of it, you know. When I got to Ancient Art, it was pretty tame. I heard, you know, when I started Ancient Art, Scotty had shoulder surgery, and he was gone for 4 months or something. It was crazy.
Yeah, and both operated on.
Yeah, both of his shoulders at the same time. So I just heard all these crazy stories about Scott. I had no idea. I had no idea that, you know, the stories I heard, I thought somebody that looked like Tim Lehigh was going to walk in, like just this massive man, you know, like beard, long hair. Yeah. You know, I heard he slapped the shit out of some guy right before you came in, Scotty slapped this guy in the face because he was like passed out. And he was trying to wake him up. And I was like, oh my God. Well, I'm just hearing all this stuff, you know, and I heard like he's got this nightclub sitting on the edge of a station, and he's like, oh, and everyone's like, you know, Scott's crazy, you know, he'll hit somebody in the head with that thing if it comes down to it. And I'm like, okay, all right. And then one day he just rolls in. The first time I met him, and I was like, what? This dude's like clean cut as shit. He had like a flat top, you know, like, and I was like, oh my God,
was he
dude.
Fucking swole at the time?
He just got done with his shoulder, so he couldn't work.
Okay, yeah.
So he was kind of like,
fiery red all through here.
Dude, he just looked and he was just so nice. He was so nice, you know, like not at all what the stories I heard. Like everyone was just telling me all these nightmare stories of him, you know, beating people down to the ground, or he said some guy was laid out on this, and I was like, oh my God, dude, what am I getting myself into? And he was just the nicest, you know. Trying to think of, you know, Dave was always just talking him up to be some crazy man. And then I heard all the stories about Crow, and I never even saw him, so it didn't matter. But Ancient Art back then, you know, when there was only 3 tattoo shops, it was kind of different. You know, everybody had it was shift work. Nobody came in and worked open to close.
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
You know, and my shift didn't start till 5. So, and the shop closed at 10, but we were allowed to tattoo until the last person left. So it was, you're working until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, you were still taking them at 5 to 10.
Yeah, you were expected to take whoever walked through the door till 10 p.m.
That's how it was at Skin Throws. You just worked until it doesn't have work.
Yeah. And those days are toast, man. That shit's gone. But
does anybody do shift work still? You guys never have, have
you?
I'm sure they would like it.
Yeah, we have it.
But what about making a living?
Well, it was kind of nice when we worked for Crow, because, like, you know, us having younger kids at the time, like, I didn't show up to work till 5. So, dude, I went to every field trip with my daughter. Yeah. Swim lessons, dude, when she was a baby. Like, dude, I was the only guy in the swim lessons. Everyone's looking at me like I stole this baby, you know? Because, you know, tattooed dad with a kid in the pool. Sure. But it was because of that, you know, me working that 5 to close shift.
But
You know, it was nice.
But also back
Good
then,
money.
yeah, it was crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, back then it was too. It was different because, like, if I wanted to do a custom tattoo, like if I was working on anything like that, it wasn't on my shift.
Yeah.
I had to come in at 2. I'd come in and make an appointment at 2:00 to do like any appointment, like a big appointment. Other than that, it was like I'd show up at 5:00 and there'd be a stack of tattoos.
Yeah.
A stack, like 20. And there'd be like 5 of us working, like.
And you just grab what's on top,
When you did the first spot you did at Alley Cat, it was the era where it was like 2000 whatever, where everyone was getting paragraphs on their ribs. And this dude came in, man, and he wanted the paragraph on his ribs. Tony's like, you serious? The guy's like, yeah. Tony's like, I'll draw it up right now if you're doing it. And you looked at me and you went, I'm good to do this tattoo? And I'm like, yeah, fucking right. It was probably 4:00. We closed at 10. And by 5 you had it ready. By 5:30 you had it on you. And you were done before we closed. I mean, it was fucking this big.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like, 7 lines each. The lettering was about that tall. Whoosh, wispy, just.
All calligraphied out.
You remember that shit?
Yeah.
And my whole crew was like, what the fuck? Like, we got to set an appointment for that for next week and spend a day drawing that.
Nah, dude.
Not
That
Tony.
Did you draw it right on?
I didn't draw it right on,
No,
but I
he
did.
drew in the tiny drawing room.
I drew the Lord's Prayer on at that convention on that boy's ribs.
Yep.
Bananas.
And then last week, or 2 weeks ago, or whatever the hell it was, man, I had this kid come in. I swear to God, I have no idea what this guy was thinking, man. I mean, I know what he was thinking. But goddamn, he comes in and he wants all this whole, like, it was like a book down his arm.
Oh.
Kid's 19 years old, man.
Rodeo.
19. He's in the
Bull
Navy.
rider.
Yeah, and I guess he's a bull rider, but I mean, he's in the fucking Navy. He ain't a bull rider. Yeah.
Bull rider. On the side.
And he writes, and he comes in with his old lady, and he just gets this thing down his arm. And he's like, "Oh my!" It's this quote that my favorite bull rider says, and it's all about.
Oh, I'm trying to think of like who the number one bull rider was.
Oh, this motherfucker, dude! It's like I'm.
It's probably back there.
It might be back
Taking
there.
out virgins, bringing back whores.
Yeah, his mommy was a whore. His
Yeah, the word
sister
whore was in it like 3 or 4
Man,
times.
the kid's 19 years old, man, and he's coming in here with his girlfriend, getting this down his form, and I'm just like, oh shit! I was like, man, are you sure? This is a lot.
Whole arm.
He loves it. He's been back like 3 times, so I can't help it.
We got a fella, and this just like goes to show that some things never change. And there's this kid who's gotten 4 tattoos this week at Alley Cat. Never got his first tattoo at a different shop a month ago, and this week got like a pinup girl and a rose and like 4 3 of the 4 of them were super classic. One of them was kind of a weird sewn together rabbit thing. It was kind of dumb. But the rest of them, and this kid's just like, every day he rolls in and he's just like, yeah, I'm doing this today, I'm doing this today, I'm doing this today. Like those kind of situations and those kind of characters, man.
We're real fortunate. Lately, we've had there's an intel school for the Marines and the Navy, and we're real fortunate that every once in a while we'll knock out a real good, someone will come in and they'll want something really, really nice. And then and all those kids, they go get tattooed. There's 60 shops. They get tattooed everywhere. But one kid will come in and they'll get something really nice. Or I'll draw, a lot of time, lately I'll draw something on. And then they just couldn't believe that and it's like simple stuff. It's nothing hard.
Yeah.
But they're just so floored that I could just draw it right on. That they just bring in
Then they bring in St. Michael's and want me to draw on St. Michael's and shit. I'm like, yeah.
And they tell you, Tony drew this other one.
Yeah, Tony drew this on. Well, Tony works tomorrow at 11.
But we've been killing it. We'll have but then they're gone. They're only here for a couple of weeks. At this school, and then they bounce, and then you got to cross your fingers that the right one walks in. Or we'll get,
Or
we get the wild one.
This guy you were tattooing when I got here, were you doing his whole arm?
yeah, he's here from out west somewhere. He's an electrician.
Okay.
Doing guess they're running these cables from the ocean somewhere.
Yeah,
up there.
they're putting a wind farm out in the middle, like right in the Atlantic.
Oh yeah.
So
Is this good or bad?
there's like apparently it's gonna like really boost up sport fishing because of all the structures in the water, which is like whatever. But then like they say it's bad for the environment. It fucks up whatever. Who knows?
Is it gonna affect surfing?
No. We're kind of screwed here. We have our continental shelf is so far in Virginia.
What are you talking about? We got the wave pool.
Yeah, we do have the wave pool that just opened up, which has been
Got
insane.
perfect waves.
Yeah, it's
You
crazy.
shredding it, though?
Oh,
Yeah.
we were
Before
freezing.
Yeah, and they just drained it, but it's like 9 million gallons or something, so it takes like a week to fill back up. They drained it to resurface it.
What do they fill it with? Ocean water?
No,
Oh.
it's like all chlorinated fresh water.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's insane.
But it takes a month to fill it up, I guess.
It takes a week, but they just drained it, and it's too cold for them to resurface it because we've had this fucking weather's just been insane down
It's a
here.
little weird for y'all, right?
Snow like
Not
every
normal.
fucking weekend,
Like, I looked it up when I was coming out here, and because Avery was like, can we go somewhere warm? And I was like, we're not flying anywhere. Maybe we can go south. And then I thought about it. I was like, nah, I'm going to go see Tony and Mike, and got Mike Hill, too. And I just kind of thought about it in my head. And then I was like, let me look at the weather. And it's warmer in Harrisonburg right now than it is here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Now, we had
Yesterday.
under 20 degrees for 18 days. But like this week, it's gotten up in just below 60, 58.
Yeah. Yesterday was real nice.
Yeah,
Here.
for the first time in forever.
Mike Hill said it snowed 2 weekends in a row here.
Yeah. Sucked, dude.
I went to Woodstock Tuesday. There was still snow on that.
No shit.
Woodstock, Virginia?
No, it's a skate
It's
park.
a skate park here in Virginia Beach. But there was still snow built up on one of the transitions.
Yeah, there's
I rode by Mount Transport today. I hadn't seen it in years. I remember seeing Tony Hawk there in 1989. It's crazy shit.
I saw him there too.
Yeah, me and my brother.
It's like that surf park, man. It's all these restaurants and all. Man, there's a crazy sushi restaurant that they built. That's on it. It's like some guy from New York, some famous guy. They built restaurants all around it. This whole thing that they
Is
built
it
up there.
indoor wave park?
Hell no. It's fucking outdoors, cold as shit.
Oh, that's why it's closed. You can
Yeah.
explain that.
But,
sorry, I'm a retard.
But there used to be a music venue called the Dome that was on 19th Street. They tore it down, and I skated in a contest there in 1991, and I think soon thereafter they tore it down. And I want to say it's been around since like the 40s or something. I have no idea. It was just this. It was pretty small, but it was like it looked like it was like a geodesic dome. I want to say like Hendrix played there or something back in the day. I don't know. A lot of like famous people that went through, and it's been just a parking lot since the 90s. And then that musician Pharrell Williams, that's from around here, linked up, and they brought this wave pool, and it's pretty cool. It's just expensive as shit, and it's worth every penny that you can muster up to do it. So
It's like hourly, or how's it work?
it's hourly,
Yeah.
and it's all
How many
these.
people out there when you're out there?
So the max is 12 per side. So it's 24 in the pool, but you're only with 12.
Two sides.
There's two
Yeah,
sides,
make
left, right?
reservations?
Oh yeah, and it's booked up, and so if there's 12 people out there, and there's all these different levels. Like you can go in like the beginner. There's like 4 or 5 different waves for the beginner. There's like 4 or 5 intermediates. There's advanced and expert and all this shit.
And you're like Hawaii. Like you're like, what's that guy's name out there? Laird.
No, we do the expert level for sure, but
You out there surfing too in these boots?
Dude, I'm a monster. Look at me. You saw those black and gray tattoos. I'm all black. I'm not getting out there in that shit.
But it's crazy because if 12 guys are out there, you're probably going to catch 12 to 13 waves in an hour, and it's $160 straight up. Like you're paying $160 for an hour. Now here's the deal. At my age,
They're perfect waves. It's thrilling.
yeah, they're
right?
perfect. At my age, if I paddle out in the ocean and I wanted 12 good waves, it would take me 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours. Somebody would be in my way. I wouldn't be in the right spot. It'd be a motherfucker. You're in the exact spot where you need to be.
You're also in sand. You're covered in salt.
No, that's fine with me, but
I know it's fine, but it's just different.
Yeah,
It's just a different
yeah.
thing.
This thing, you roll up.
You make good money.
Everybody's in a pecking order. You go.
Wait your turn.
You wait your turn. You go, and then so I've been there when there was 8 people, And then when there's 8 people, your rotation is so fast. I caught like 30 waves in an hour. It was insane.
Wow.
But
and they're just perfect every time. Like
everyone.
Time.
And so it's so since you're experienced, you just know. You know how to catch them, and it's just like getting on an escalator.
Then
Yeah.
you start getting tired though, like especially when there's less people in the water. When you're more than like 15 waves, it's like,
you're cooked.
It's a workout. You're like starting to be like.
It is. But you're also like ecstatic, right? The kid in you is going crazy, right?
Yeah, but our bodies are fucking crippled, you know.
And then we try to come to work.
Yeah, we'll do it before work, and then we just like show up behind. Todd Noble's been coming down and doing it like that, dude. He got a little too crazy with it.
He's a nut too. Yeah, of course he did. He can't calm down.
Oh, he was doing like 3 sessions in a day. 3 sessions in a day.
You know, I did a podcast with Civ, and we just trashed Todd from like, you know, when Bruno introduced me to Todd, and he was just on 11, and we just talked about how he was on 11 and joked a bunch, you know, and I love Todd, and the next time I saw him, he just fucking sat, he was sitting in a booth somewhere, I don't know what convention, maybe pick out it. He just sitting there kind of grumbling at me, he goes, so I guess you and Civ hate me? It was so much fun. God damn. What a good tattooer that motherfucker is.
Yeah, dude, he's no joke.
Yeah.
He's just an artist.
Man, his tattoos. He breathes tattoo. Like him, when he does one of them chicks, man, it's so bananas.
Everything now is like, I mean, it's not, you know, the chicks are good, but everything is fucking.
Everything's good. Everything's been good by him for a long time, I'm just bananas over those girls, you know, that he does. Just the skin tones, the browns and stuff he puts in these girls is so crazy. But yeah, what a good tattooer. Yeah. And I like Todd a whole lot, but you know, we just got
he's the best.
Mike's been friends with him a long time, and I remember telling, like, the first time I met him, I was like, dude, I love Todd, dude. He's got this crazy energy. I just love, you know, he's awesome.
Did you meet him at Ancient Art, or did I take you guys?
I think you might have taken me up.
Birthday party.
Yeah, it might have been. I think I met him before that once, and then we went up to his birthday.
When Grime and Steve Bolts, man, it was like a wild party.
It was nuts, dude. It was sick. So we went up there, and I was telling Brian, I was like, dude, like, I really like Todd, you know, like, he's awesome. He's like, oh man, we were in San Francisco one time, and we could hear him coming down the hall. And he goes, man, it was getting closer, and by the time he got to our door, Scott Sylvia just kicked the door shut right in front of him. Was like, you can't come in here, dude. You just can't come in here. We can't have that energy right now. But that's how he is. He's great. He's the best, dude. He's
never wears a shirt. So Brian Bruno introduced me to him too, and I don't know where we were, but he introduced me to him in a hotel, and then like a couple hours later, we were in a parking garage, like trying to go out to dinner. And he just jumped out from behind a car with no shirt on in front of Brian's car and just like threw himself on the ground and just was just going bananas. And I think this is the story I told to Civ. And it was just like, it was just so off the wall. And, you know, Brian's super calm and I'm pretty chill. And I was just like, oh, dog. I can't match this guy's energy. And Brian's like, he's fine. And I'm like, he needs to calm down. He's like, no, he's fine. But he didn't end up not coming with us. But I was like, this motherfucker's crazy.
Remember when Scott had that? We went up to Bill's place up in Baltimore to mix some ink. Waverly,
yeah.
And
big shouts to Waverly.
Oh, he's the best, dude. And Scott had this white from. Where the hell did you get it from? Like, it was like Sailor. It was like National White. That was like from Zeke or from.
Nah, we had.
No, it was from.
Spalding and Rogers, I think.
I don't know, but Scott was walking around with the lid off. Fucking. Todd acted like he was gonna kick it out of his hand. Like, you can just imagine, like, white powder just fucking going everywhere, and I was just losing my mind watching that interaction with them two, you know. I think that was like one of the first times I had hung out with him like that.
Brian had introduced me to him back in the day, and then I didn't see him for a little while, and then, you know, I see him at a convention here and there, and then New York Dorm was getting ready to close. And I was super lucky. I'd been putting these cooking videos up on Instagram, and Juan Puente saw them and was like, "Hey, you should come to New York. I'm going to cook for this. There's like a big party, but there's a private party there before. If you come up there and cook with me, then I'll do your podcast." And I was just like, "Fuck!" And I told Porter's like, "I'll drive you there, and we'll do it together. And you're not going to miss that, and I'm going to go to that. And let's do that." So then I reached out to Rube, and I ended up doing a podcast with Rubendahl and O'Donnell the day before I met Juan, which was 2 days before the big cookout. And I hadn't seen Todd in years. And after we recorded, Rubendahl was like, "I'm going to take you guys to a bar." So we're in, Manhattan. And we walk. He's like, "It's around the corner," which is a fucking lie that every New Yorker tells. It's fucking 11 blocks or whatever. And we get down there. And first time I met Juan, I hadn't seen Todd in years. He was there. Rose Hardy, Yoni. But, just a bunch of great tattooers in a very, I can't remember the name of the bar, but it had the word Rose in the title, and it was just cool. Just super cool and swanky. And the music was good, and there was like this big horseshoe booth, man, and there was all these great tattooers. And Ruben was like, "Have a seat with these guys, I'll get you some drinks." And it was dope, and Todd was there kicking it that night. It was a ton of fun. Yeah, Porter got shit. Yoni was like, "You guys want to smoke a joint?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I didn't know it was a hash joint. It was just like cigarette tobacco with a bunch of chunks of hash in it. And he didn't say that. He just said, "You want to smoke a joint?" So we got outside, me, him, and Porter. And I hadn't smoked a cigarette in years, and I fucking hit it. I was like, we're just breathing fire, If you don't know you're inhaling tobacco and you hit it like you would weed, it'll light your ass up. And we got super toasted, man. And then Rube left, and just like, I gotta walk Porter back to the fucking room, and he's like, really wants a hot dog on the street from a street vendor. And he's walking out into the street in Manhattan. And when I grab him and pull him back on the sidewalk, he like overcorrects and slams into a building, and just like trying to get him up the street, man. He's like, "I'm a hot dog, man." Shit face, you know what I mean? But yeah, that was a fucking great night with Todd and all those cats.
So we got some changes going on in the shop.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
I don't know if you saw on the gram, got a new guy starting.
He's from he's down the street, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a tough one because that's like we're like real close with it. We're friends with those guys,
Yeah.
And wanted to cause any friction,
You know what? The great shops have a tendency to go through that. There's an appeal. If you're both on the same trajectory and you both want to do great things, sometimes there's an attraction to one shop from the other. I've had this conversation with Rubendahl and Angelo. Like how many times people have gone between Kings Ave and Inksmith and Rogers. Like these things happen with great shops.
Yeah, it's a little different when it's in the same city, but and the guys that own Red 5 are great. Mike's worked with both of them.
Yeah, worked with both of them.
Chad worked with Chris.
For a while.
And Chris Garcia's, best portrait guy ever.
I don't know him, but
Incredible, and Carl, the other owner, is just the black and gray wizard, and then they got a good crew over there, and then, I'd say...
Well, Chris has been with them for a long time.
Yeah, he's been with them for a long time, and Chris is...
I don't know Chris well, but I think he's got family in my area.
His mom has a antique shop up that way.
Okay, so they came up and unfortunately I wasn't there, but he brought a really cool Mr. Lucky painting with like Alley Cat chopstick left. Super cool. It's hanging in the lobby of Alley Cat. And that's one of the things we did at that shop. Like I got great stuff from Capella and Chris Roberts and all these great tattooers who have made things that said Alley Cat Tattoo, and Stoll stuff is in the lobby right there with that stuff. Because it's a big shop, but the lobby's small. And I want people to come in and see all this stuff that says Alley Cat Tattoo. And Stoll is like right by the door.
Oh man, that'd be super cool for him to hear. But everybody everybody, Joey and Brandon are real excited for him to come. He fits in real well. I've been finishing his back for Brian for the last year and a half, I guess.
Well, you can get it done. What are you fucking dragging?
I probably got maybe one more session left. That's it.
What is it?
It's like the coolest tattoo ever. It's a Rock of Ages with a geisha and a dragon. Yeah, it's like. Yeah, it's fucking.
Skull's also one of those wave pool people too, though. So
Yeah.
he's got to retard himself from going sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, interferes with his tattoo schedule too.
But everybody in here gets along with him real well. Like, and he's just solid as can be. He's great, and everybody in Joey's like, he's really like kind of Mr. Happy these days. So he's in a good spot.
Which is not normal for Joey.
No.
He can be Mr. Grumpy too.
Yeah, but now
I've known him long enough so I can say it. I love him. He sent me a very nice message, and you did too, recently, because we were talking you guys up. But everything we said about you guys is true, and I've known Joey for many years now, and I've always liked him, man. He sent me a very nice message recently.
Well, and Brandon is just, they're so good. They're the best. They're the best tattooers I've ever been around. So, and they keep me on my toes. I feel like Joey, I'm asking for help now, and Brandon just puts on stickers perfectly, and then and Stoll is just gonna roll right in and just be.
Yeah, you guys are gonna kill it. It's gonna breathe, new life into the shop, and like I said, not to say it's stagnant, but it's just when you have guys that have been in the space for a long time and they're anticipating someone coming in, and then that guy will have the excitement of being around all those fellas and you fellas, and it's going to be tremendous.
And I think the good thing, like, Stoll's really excited to be here. He's really excited I think he really enjoys the camaraderie. Like Mike's the mayor. He knows everybody. Like, this motherfucker knows everybody. And I think that's a good place for Stoll to be, to kind of like, if you want to go anywhere, if everybody in here.
You want to do a guest spot, or
anything. Yeah,
Rickards will put you on.
Yeah, Rickards will put you on, or even just our ties with you, or our ties with Scott did it for me. Like, he opened up doors wherever I went.
Sure.
And then Mike just knows everybody, so it's whatever. He just knows everybody. So you want to go anywhere, he's got you covered. And I think, Stoll's young. I forget how young he is. He's 33 years old. He's hungry.
Like a newborn baby.
He's hungry. And I think
a couple of antiques like us, right? You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I don't even know.
Don't want to say. Look at Rickards with his white eyebrows. Don't want to say.
I said it earlier. I'm 55. I'm probably the oldest in here for sure.
I'll be 52 in April.
I just turned 46.
I'll be 48 in June.
That's crazy. And when 33, like, that shit's crazy, man. He's 13 years younger than me. That's insane.
Yeah.
And he's going to be the youngest one in the shop. He's younger than Joey and Brandon. So
Joey's, that's crazy.
Joey's doing great, dude. He's doing great. He really is.
You and Joey took me and somebody to a fucking deep dish pizza joint down here one time.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Windy Pizza.
Windy City.
Windy City, yeah. Not cool.
Somebody else was here.
Huh?
Somebody else was with you guys, right?
Yeah, I can't remember who.
That was the first.
My brother, man?
It was your brother.
Okay.
First experience with Chicago-style pizza. I know we ain't Chicago, but not a fan.
I was like, it'll be great. And it literally takes an hour to get pizza.
I had no idea, man. I didn't know I was going to say something.
I drank probably 13 beers. It was fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that place even still down there?
Yeah, it's still there. It's next to another tattoo shop. Really.
Yeah, man, it'll be great. You can have them in here.
They're all over the fucking place now. It's crazy. I can throw a rock and hit this fucking. They opened up.
This shop was how much? 13?
The 13th shop in the city.
That's good. That's a lucky number for y'all. That's good.
But
y'all have the young tattooers come and get tattooed by you guys here, like local guys. So you're obviously cool with Red 5.
Yeah, they're.
you're the reason I'm tight with Annette and Steve. I know it's a little further away though.
Yeah.
Are there local tattooers that are coming to you guys? Do they understand the difference? Like, are you all the absolute art? Or?
So we
I feel
do.
like
We tattoo quite a bit of tattooers here, and I always make a joke about saying that we need to make a shirt, but but fucking Chad was like, "You gonna make that shirt?" Well, then fucking, then Absolute's gonna make a shirt that says, "Well, this is where they get tattooed." So you can't say.
Well, what's the shirt you're gonna?
I was just saying, like, it's where your favorite tattooer comes to get tattooed.
Yeah.
But he was just like,
First of
well,
all, let's not pretend like I didn't coin that phrase with Timothy Hoyer. I was saying Timothy Hoyer's your favorite tattooer's favorite tattooer in 2016 on No That's Just Bullshit. So let's not act like I didn't coin that.
I want to say I saw Inksmith have a shirt
I'm
that's.
responsible for that.
I think Inksmith had a shirt like that I saw a long time ago too.
Yeah, they got it from me. Fuck that.
But now there's just so many. It's just like
Half the tattooers around here, man, like you
If they know what's up, they probably look up to you guys. And if they don't know what's up, and George said something to me today that really made an impact on me. There's so many self-taught people that own shops now.
Oh, they don't give
How
a
weird
shit.
is that?
Yeah.
How weird is that people bought kits and got a Pinterest line drawing book, and they have a shop now?
Well, the crazy thing is you don't have to have a shop. Around here we have these hair salon studio rental spaces where you're just renting like a little studio space. And there's just one up the street where it's just loaded with just tattooers.
It's like a portal of all these different.
Just rooms.
It's booths, but it's a room that closes off to itself.
I don't, I'm gonna let them go down on their own sinking ship because
But they're not doing a naked lady riding a leopard like you are. They're not doing that.
Well, I mean, but the thing is I want to do this.
Yeah, but you know what? That naked lady riding the leopard's not paying all the bills.
Yeah.
That little black and gray vine around a finger is.
I mean, I know what you're saying, but Tony Riccio's doing more naked girls on cats than he is mine.
I am, but
he's an exception. He's different. Mike's doing a lot of probably large scale black and gray, more than you are vines around fingers, right? You guys are just different. I don't think we should compare the girl who's doing a sleeve of small outlines of little clouds with faces to what you guys do. It's a different thing entirely.
I did.
No disrespect to them even, but it's a different thing entirely.
Did 4 tattoos today. I did Hot Rod.
Yeah, you tattooed Hot Rod this morning.
Then the next one was what? A walk-in? No.
Those flowers on that girl's
Oh yeah.
arm.
So I did 5 today. Yeah. So Hot Rod, he comes every Thursday. Get something.
Something cool?
Yeah.
He's for
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
What are you
He's
doing?
awesome.
What are you doing?
Like today, dude, I just did like this 50s filler, like retro, designs and like shit.
It's coupe stuff.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's like
rod stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
We call it Hot Rod.
Yeah, okay.
yeah. Then a girl came in. I did some black and gray flowers that I had to piece around like 3 butterflies. Then I did a little word on a rib. Did a hand,
Yep.
bird on a hand. And
Like
then,
classic swallow?
yeah,
Sick.
yeah. And then
Love that. All
yeah.
day.
I'm trying to do sigilism on hands, dude. I'm
And-
trying to do it all.
Oh, I had a kid come in and made an appointment for that.
What is it? Sigil?
Oh yeah.
It's that
dude.
like the new
Spiky, thin,
the new tribal.
Why
But-
is it called that? What did you say?
They
like
call
the
it.
Matt,
It's like tribal, but it's just bad.
Yeah,
Like the Matty Goldstein travel? Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what.
But
Well, the other week he got this one, so he came back to get the other hand done.
Yeah, that's great, man.
well, it's back to like these self-taught tattooers that are there's that hair salon place. A person opened up in there and he has a tattoo school in there. So there's all these tattoo schools opening up, and it's like they don't know. They just don't know. They're like.
Especially the young kid.
Well, it's just a generation
Really
where it's
don't.
like they have no idea where they're coming from, and when you don't know where you're coming from, you sure shit ain't gonna know where you're going. And And
But these people that are going to these tattoo schools, they're not going to come and get a job here. They're going to open their own shop, which they've never been in a real shop to start with.
Yeah.
So,
but they also, and this is what are they going to be even in our business in 10 years? Or is it going to be something they used to do?
I don't know.
I don't see how they can compete with the strength of saltwater tattoo.
Well, I think
and I'm not blowing smoke at all. I'm talking about the real deal tradition of tattooing, as everyone in this room knows it. I don't think those people who are learning from that school will be tattooing in 10 years.
Well,
I'll have in 10 years, dude. I'll have 37 years in the business. How much longer am I going to be here?
Well, you're going to be, but you love it.
I love it
more than most.
Yes.
Not only will you be here for another 20, maybe, or more than that, but you'll also be accommodating your fellow tattooers like you do Nate Harmon and Eric Perfect, and you'll also be going to see the greatest things that are done in this business. You'll be right there on a plane, right there on a road trip, doing that shit because you have the fever. You're fucking obsessed. You're hooked. It's got you. And so you will surpass those people. They will leave and do the next thing while you're still here.
But the problem with these kids is I hate to be the old man to say it, but I feel like this generation, I think it's okay if they figure out how to do one tattoo a day and they're fine living like that. That's just their drive, and doing that one tattoo a day is they don't have the work ethic to do more than that, which makes me believe that they don't have the work ethic to do any other job. And that's and I feel it's crazy because it's like you can be a horrible tattooer and still make a decent living
if you work, but they won't.
I hope not. God knows. I hope not. But
it's just like all the shops that you hear about, all the tattooers that are leaving it right now. Keep hearing about that.
Oh yeah, I hear about all that shit too. But
fine, right? Fine.
Well, and then
that's fine.
I feel, and then it's all I hear weird things about.
I left and came back. I mean, I don't tattoo for these guys anymore.
Yeah.
But I did it 21 years. Worked for Crow all 21 of those years.
Yeah.
So I saw plenty of folks come and go, and I walked away.
But you saw the biggest change in tattooing. You went through the change of when I worked at Crow's. There was no computer. If you came in with there wasn't a smartphone really, but you could email. Pretty much there was Blackberries, but it wasn't a real smartphone yet. But if you wanted something printed up, there's only 3 shops. Crow didn't give a shit. He'd be like, you need to take your ass down to Kinko's
library.
Go to the library, get that thing printed up, and come back.
I heard Andrew Connor tell so many people to go to the fucking library, bro. I'd be like, please stop saying that.
And it was it got to the point where I was like, Crow, we have to get a computer. Every shop has a computer. We got to have a computer in here.
Yeah.
And but he went through the phase of where the only thing you did was off of Crow's Flash.
Shit, when I got there.
Goddamn gift, wasn't it?
Well, there were some other treats in there. We had the Leo Zuleta set, the what's his Ed's Kids kanji sheet.
But it was
Doug Hardy's kanji sheet.
And it was kind of like
Jack Rudy set.
Yeah, and we would and it was kind of your custom stuff because nobody was getting really big tattoos when I started. There was a lot of smaller tattoos. Yeah. And basically, and I heard you say this to people, well, pick out a couple that you like and we'll kind of finagle them together into one. If you like these flowers, you like this. And basically that's kind of what you did with and Crow had everything, everything. So that's what you did. And then, it was all small. It was all one-shot tattoos. Pretty much that's all I did. It was very rare for me to do a sleeve or a back piece until...
But there were palm classes by the time you were doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When you started, it was Woody Woodpecker this fucking big, right? It was a little dolphin with splashes this big on the shoulder blade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of kanji and a lot of... And I think what got me in the door at Ancient Art was that I could draw script immediately. I already knew how to draw script. Yeah. So that helped out. And that's what I was doing. A lot of script, a lot of kanji, a lot of...
I wish people had lettering still, man.
I've probably gone 3 or 4 years at the beginning of my career without using anything bigger than a 3-liner. When I came in, that was it. It was you could do everything in here with a 3-liner and a 7 mag. And I mean, it held true,
Glory days.
Yeah, yeah.
But
You know, it was nice to show up on a Saturday, parking lot be full, and we go to the counter, we let everybody in, and we're not doing any armbands, we're not doing anything on the chest, we're nothing custom.
As you tell them when they come in?
Yeah, we had to.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have time to afford that. It was that busy.
we had
And I mean, I don't know how familiar with the history of it you were, but the Yorktown shop was small.
Yeah.
You know, the lobby was maybe from the corner to the beginning of the window there. You know, it was small.
when I first started Ancient Art, there was one massage table.
Yeah, my station at Yorktown couldn't have accommodated.
I remember the days
a
of putting
massage
two of these
table.
chairs together and tell somebody to lay on, your belly to get your calf done, kind of shit.
We had
Well, I've done this.
We had a
I
car
got my
seat.
calf done like this at one point.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
We had this car seat out of some old
300Z.
yeah,
Yeah.
And it was bolted to it was like
Yeah,
welded to like
wheels.
wheels, and that's like we would lay people back down and shit.
Right all the way back.
And like, granted, I'm lucky enough to where I got the tattoo off of an armrest. Like I didn't have to like when Josh Brown tattooed.
Fancy guy over here.
Well, when Josh Brown tattooed my arm, when I got this tattoo in 2000 or whatever the fuck it was, and he just grabbed the back of my arm
Hold it.
and
Had
pulled
his
it.
leg propped up on a wooden block or something.
No, he just I was actually I think I was laid out on a table and he just grabbed my arm. He was like, "Hey, give me your arm."
When I
But,
first started getting tattooed in Ancient Art, like you said, parking lot full. It was up, like they let us in, it was up to the people that were waiting together to establish the order. Like whoever was first was closest to the door and so on. So we established, as clients, we established the order, told them what we wanted. We filled out a release form, they put it on the drawing table and then the shop person would put a line drawing with it. And then the tattooers would just pull the next tattoo every time. Andrew Connor or Eddie Erie or Mark Green or whoever would take you back, shave you with a straight razor, and on the counter would be test tubes with cotton balls and witch hazel on the bottom and needles that they had used already and autoclaved and put in there. They would pull one of those needles, loop it, set up in front of you, and that's the whole era of they opened it in front of me. They opened the needle in front of me. That shit. And then they would set up in front of you and tattoo you.
Yeah.
That's how I got tattooed in the beginning. And then they would talk that, Andrew Connor was explaining to me in 1996 how a mag really gets in the groove of the tip after you've used it 4 times. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know any better. I didn't know he tattooed 4 fucking people with that already. They'd just been claved over and over again. I didn't fucking know that.
Well, shit.
I'd actually, when I had to learn how to make needles, obviously, at the beginning. And at one point, I was instructed on how to put a brass shim on the bottom of it to keep it from wearing after too many uses.
Everything was straight razor, nothing disposable, all that shit.
When I apprenticed and I was cleaning Scott's too, I was cleaning everybody's tubes, but Scott's would dump his liners in the thing, and I'd have to or all of his needles in this I don't know, it's like swill bucket, it's like whatever. So I'm like taking it out, and I'm like I'd have to brush out all of his needles.
A steel brush.
Yeah, and then I would package them in groupings of 10 for him and run them through the autoclave, and then he would get them out, and then I loop them and then repackage them. But when I started, he was reusing it, all of his liners, all of his shaders for sure, and then some of his liners he was reusing. But that was, and then it was crazy because by the time I went out to Chesapeake, came back, he wasn't doing any of that shit anymore. But I mean,
Glory days.
I made all my own needles up through 2005.
yeah.
I probably, 2005. I probably made them longer than that.
And
Yeah.
anything.
I mean, I would buy the Icon pre-made needle heads sometimes when I got lazy and just solder them
solder
to
on.
tubes
Yeah.
or solder them to
On bars.
bars.
When I started working, the guy who taught me, Dave, was a fucking mess. In the city of Virginia Beach, all of your tubes have to be submerged in water because what's their thing? Hepatitis can be airborne as a spore or something. It can be dry, flaked off. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
Dave's bottom drawer was just full of used needles and tubes. Like, not he like
just throw 'em in.
So Dave Vogelite, the guy taught me how to tattoo. He's that. I mean, it was fucking insane. It was disgusting. Like, and then, and if the health department came in, we would just show them. We would
you would skip his. You could never take a health department person.
Oh,
over to
fuck no.
I had the
Dave's
model
station.
station.
He had the model station. Chad's station was like Dexter preparing for a murder. It was
his
like
paper towels folded nice,
and then saran wrapped into like bundles of like 50, like
50.
like it was it was crazy. His needle, like when we had in our stations, we had like the little buckets of the fluid that because they had to be submerged. His like cleaning fluid wouldn't even be dirty. He would wash his tube before he would put it in the fucking liquid. It was crazy. So if the health department
slammed in here and be like, all right, Chad, you got to bang out a fucking.
He tattooed Scott last
on his
year.
birthday last year.
Yeah, I tattooed this guy one time. Yeah, that's great.
dude, you were like sweating it for a minute.
Oh yeah, God.
He was probably stoked though.
Oh, he was pumped.
It's,
So happy.
yeah, and,
I mean, he'd rather get.
I wouldn't have done it if it wouldn't have been for him.
He would rather probably get tattooed by you than whoever the next. When he got tattooed by me, I was like, get Andrew to do this fucking thing. It was like a Bob Roberts skull next to a Mark Mahoney skull next to a fucking Malone skull. No joke.
Oh yeah.
And he had a gap right there. He's like, I want you to put it right here. I'm like, just put
Greg Iron's skull on his knee.
Yeah, and I'm like, get Connor to do it. And he's just like, I don't want it from Andrew. I want it from you.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm like, fuck.
I remember when Scott tattooed. It was one of the first times I did Rochester with Absolute. Dave Boyce was sitting in the booth with me, and Scott was doing I don't know what the fuck he was tattooing, but he ended up tattooing Dave, and he didn't have the right glasses. He was wearing like his regular glasses. That thing was not even close.
Awesome.
And Dave was just pumped. He was like, "Yeah, man, that's great. Go ahead." Like whatever.
You remember when we met? You and Scott came to Alacant.
Yeah. It was just me and Scott.
Just you and Scott. I never met either one of you, and they showed up and said they heard about us. I was blown away by that. And Scott said, "This is like the best kept secret in tattooing," and that upset me. And I was like, "This is not a secret. That's just not That's one of the catalysts to me starting to launch this bullshit was because Scott Sterling said nobody knew that Alley Cat was there. And I was just like, these guys worked their asses off, and I'm going to fucking start making some noise.
So back then it was kind of, it's so crazy back then because when I started, I feel like in DC there was, there was always Paradise and Reed Street. They were good. Jeeks Proof. Then you had Reed Street in Baltimore, which was like insane. And this is before I even started tattooing. I knew these shops.
Right.
Like it was like I knew this to be true. This is what's going on. In Richmond, it was a live studio, Absolute.
Yep.
Like straight up. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about North Carolina. I knew through skateboarding, and I'd go down and skate everywhere. There was I would meet people that got tattooed in South Carolina by the guy that helped Mike, John Horn. I knew about him. I knew about Ink Smith and Rogers through skateboarding down in Jacksonville. I had a friend, a professional skateboarder down there that I was tight with. And then even like in New York City was just kind of like whatever, there wasn't much going on there. You could go out to Long Island, and when I moved to Long Island in 2005, and that's when I went to Sibs and stuff like that. But in Virginia, I always felt like, like once you hit past Richmond, I didn't know anything. Like I didn't know anything. I knew Acme because of George. Sure. And George had, when I first got tattooed by George, he was using a machine that Tim Forbes had built.
Right.
And I don't even know he might have peeled out to California by then for all the fuck I know. I don't even know. Yeah. So, and then I was like, well, and then when I found out about you guys, I felt like, well, shit, that's, after that, you know, there's a million tattoo shops everywhere, but does it even matter? Because after your shop, what is there till, I mean, fuck, I don't know, maybe Greg Christian up in Ohio. Like, I mean, where do you go there? Then Chicago.
Yeah.
And I mean, now there's so many good people.
Sure.
There really is.
Sure.
Like, you know, you can't even fall, you know, you're going to trip and fall on a good tattoo shop, especially like up all around like Maryland and all that stuff. There's so many great tattooers. But back then, like, and even when I started, I felt like it was just so, and it was probably even crazier for him, you know, because when he started, it was nobody. And then when Rattlesnake Johnny, when he was down, he had a shop. So that dude was nuts. Did you ever get to meet him?
No, but Scott told me a lot about him.
Insane. He came down here, and Scott kind of took care of him at the end of his life. When he was tattooing, there was no shop from him. Was that like West Texas or something? All the way to California.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was wild.
So when I started, it was like, you know, I didn't find out about you guys until Brian put us on to you.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like Mike and Brian and whoever was doing guest spots in Alley Cat. And like I said, I was outside grilling chicken when him and Scott pulled up.
Oh, yeah, you guys were down.
I was just hanging out, man.
Yeah.
I had no idea they were coming. And I was like, oh shit, okay, you're gonna hang out, I'll make dinner. And I went up to the fucking food line and got more stuff and made mac and cheese and cabbage and all that shit. But I had no idea they were coming, man. And like I said, it was a big deal.
And you know, when I got tattooed by Josh when I was 20, Josh Brown, 2001, 2001, something like that. I had just come back from California, and I overheard them talking about the Reed Street Forum shit.
Oh yeah.
And I felt
Legendary.
like I got like I was just listening, and I went home and found it, and I thought like, I was like, I'm in, like I hear it, I'm seeing all this shit. But back then
typing.
Well, it was just crazy, you know. It was like magazines, and I don't know. It was just crazy. I thought Baltimore was like the mecca, because it was like there was that people were coming from San Francisco to Reed Street.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, just the attitude that Seth had. You know, like it definitely had a draw to it.
I didn't know anything about Seth until Mike told me he was he'd fuck me up. until Brian was like, "Oh yeah, he's a real ass beater." When all that shit went down with him and Scotty at the Richmond convention, and
oh yeah, I've heard that story. Legend.
And
Legend.
And me and Joey were
Scott
like,
told that shit on No License Bullshit. Scott has like 6 episodes of No License Bullshit, and he told that on at least 2 of them.
Dude, me and Joey were like out in the lobby. We're like, all right, we just can't let Scott get beat up.
I was working in the ancient art booth when he came up and was like, "Where's Scott? I need to talk to him."
So I grabbed Joey. I was like, all right, we can't let Scott get beat up. And then like 2 years later, Brian was like, it would have taken you and Joey. Like,
yeah.
Like, you have no idea. Seth's an ass beater. Like, it would have taken the both of you. And I was like, God damn it.
Luckily, nothing ever happened.
No, it was like all smoothed over. Easy peasy.
All right, boys, I'm running out of battery and I got to piss.
All right.
Tony, tell folks how they can see your tattoos and get tattooed by you.
Oh, man. Saltwater Tattoo VB. You can find everybody at the shop. I put my guys up against anybody. Everybody in here is top notch. There is no weak link. And it's just getting stronger with Stoll coming on board.
Yeah.
You know, our shop guys it's been you just heard it.
Great Zeke story.
Yeah. I mean, there's over 100 years of experience. You know, when you come in here, you're going to get it. You know.
What's your Instagram, buddy?
Saltwater Tattoo. You can find all of us.
All right, so go to Saltwater Tattoo. You can find the whole crew.
Yeah.
Fellas, thank you for being accommodating and being my pals and letting me come in here and
You're
drink
welcome.
liquor and talk shit.
Anytime you want.
Chad, thank you very much, man.
Absolutely.
I appreciate
It's
you
good to
sharing
meet you.
the
It's
story.
good to be on this for.
We need to do a whole episode, me and you.
We can.
We need to do the whole deal
We can.
because you telling good stories, man.
I appreciate it. Been around a long time.
Anything. All right.
The devil made me do it the first time. The second time I done it on my own. Lord put a handle on a simple-headed man. Help me leave that black rose alone. Devil made me do it the first time. The second time I done it on my own. Lord put a handle on a simple-headed man. Help me leave that black rose alone.
No lies, just bullshit.